but still.
It's run by
I
LSU,
know.
though. I mean, that we proved Einstein was right kind of stuff.
Yeah, and then
Stanford didn't do that. MIT didn't do that.
Right.
LSU did that.
And we don't tell the story.
No.
We don't shout it from the rooftops. We don't.
We keep it buried well underneath the Tiger Stadium roar.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, we have earthquakes because of Garth Brooks in a Tommy Hodson pass,
Which was against Auburn.
But we shocked the world, or not shocked the world, but we proved to the world just how in nothing, crickets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and don't tell me that if they sell it, nobody's buying it. I'm not buying that line of thinking.
no.
Good morning, YouTube.
Oh, hell no.
What?
Somebody took the adapter out of here.
Did you put a label down yet?
I put a no. Bo never gave me the label maker.
Bo is a piece of... No, Bo's overworked.
Whoever took the adapter out of it.
That might be down the hall.
No, it's the people... Kevin Ford was in yesterday, so Grant was in there.
Yeah, Grant thought pissed me off.
Well,
'Cause it's always him when
I'm going to suggest to you... Time for us to get a look at that weekend forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo. Oh, sorry, it's Jay Sillenwheat. Yes. If I bought you a pair of headphones with the adapter built in, would you keep them and not leave them in the studio? Okay. Well, no, that's... Crap, I'm not ready.
I'm really quite something.
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
News and newsmakers.
Coffee and contemplation.
Traffic and weather.
I've been sitting here for 2.5 hours and I still don't know why.
Good morning. Great day in the morning, people. Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Start your day with Baton Rouge's hub for information and opinion.
Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Here is Brian Haldane.
Talk 107.3 FM, WPRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Alondra producing. Get ready, y'all. We got a rip-roaring Friday show taking you into the Auburn weekend the right way. Haggai Davis going to be by for a cup of tech gumbo about a half an hour from right now. We got Judd Jeansonne going to join us from Volunteer, Louisiana, one of the many, many entities helping out in the wake of Hurricane Ian. That's at 7:15. Chef Jet Tila is with the Food Network now. He's been around Food Network. He did Iron Chef. He chopped a bunch of the different competitions and whatnot. He's one of the original owners of Payway. Well, now he's doing the Halloween cookie baking championship over on the Food Network, and he's going to join us at 7:35 to talk about that. Side note, this is something I nerd out on every year. The holiday times come around, whether it be Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Food Network goes nuts and overboard with the different baking and cooking competitions, and they're just fun. It's a good step away from all the stressors that they have on the Food Network. Anyway, we got Jet Tila at 7:35. In the 8 o'clock hour, we have one guest and one guest only. You wanted more, Rocco? You got more, Rocco. Rocco from Rocco's New Orleans Style Po' Boy is going to be in at 8:15. We're making muffaladas. And then I got to talk with him about marketing and branding because he's got a sandwich that is like a muffalata, but you add roast beef. And he calls it a ruffalata. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. It sounds very date rapey. Roofalata? No, bro. We gotta come up with a new name for this. But for now, it's the Roofalata. So Rocco will be by at 8:15 through the end of the show, and he told me yesterday. He says, "I've got new material. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's going to be all Jerry Seinfeld up in here. And what's the deal with mayonnaise? No, it's not. I don't know exactly what that means, but we'll find out at 8:15. Plus top stories are trending, the outside in, this day in history, and a whole lot more. Yes, we are going to take a closer look at LSU Auburn for this coming weekend. Probably my favorite series for LSU, my favorite opponent for LSU. Not my most hated. That would be reserved for Florida. Not my second most hated. That would be reserved for Texas A&M. What? He's already number 3 on the list and hasn't gotten to Bama. I know. It's just my favorite because there's always storylines that surround it. It's the series. It's the game every year that's going to end up with a name. It's the game every year where, whether it be the barn burner, the bring back the magic game, which, by the way, side note, was my first game in the student section freshman year at LSU. Troy Twilley pulling down that interception, just, right in front of the student section. Glorious thing. The LSU Auburn game always taking twists and turns, and it very quickly moves up the ranks for one of those times where you're in it during the game, and then after the game, you could view the game separately from watching the game. Sounds weird, but the storyline of the series becomes its own storyline in and of itself. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. I got to start off with, we got about 2 minutes till break. So yesterday, as we were taking a look at Hurricane Ian and what was left in its wake in Florida, I was taking note of the fact that the National Hurricane Center did not have this thing returning to hurricane status. And I thought that was weird. It's going to be back out over the Atlantic. It's going to feed. It's going to eat. It's got to. And oh, by the way, maximum sustained winds were still at 65 miles an hour when it was clearing Florida. So it didn't have that far to go. But we reported all yesterday that it was projected to remain as a tropical storm. Not the case. As of this morning, as of 2 hours and 11 minutes ago, Hurricane Ian is once again Hurricane Ian. It has maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour and is projected to remake landfall later on today in South Carolina, a little bit further north than what was originally projected. But once again, it'll hit South Carolina, then go into North Carolina, where it will downgrade to a tropical storm and then a tropical depression by 2 p.m. tomorrow. So Hurricane Ian has regained hurricane status, as most of us thought it would. I still don't know why the original projections were not that it would re-up. But nonetheless, it has re-upped. So maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. I don't think it's supposed to get too much stronger than that. Although it's going to be offshore. The center of the storm is going to be offshore for, a good piece of today, if not all the way through today into the evening. So I wouldn't be shocked if it got a little bit stronger as the day wore on. One last note on Ian. Well, I shouldn't say one last note. One other note on Ian is that we're going to be talking about it a lot during the day today. There's a lot going on from Louisiana's perspective where we have the opportunity to give back. And that is happening in a big, big way. From the governor's office to the lieutenant governor's office to the Cajun Navy to you name it. There are multiple organizations that are eastbound and down, loaded up in trucking, heading on over to Florida. So like we said, we're going to talk with Judd Jeansonne from Volunteer Louisiana at 7:15. One of the many, many different ways that Louisiana is helping out right now. All right, we're at 6:13 at Talk 107.3 FM. I'm 1 minute late, so let's break. Come back with traffic and then sports next. Okay. Kind of tell the grocery.
Man, I forgot that they stopped serving sandwiches at 2, and I went the other day at
Like forever?
2:45.
Yeah. it's all right there. Make me a sandwich. Like it's all right there. It's not like they've got some massive kitchen. They're you got the. You're like a one-man operation. You stop serving sandwiches when you decide to. You start serving sandwiches when you decide to.
Like, if one person comes in and wants a Italian roast beef, I think you should just go ahead and make it. You know what I mean?
Oh, I tried again to get a water cooler on this floor and it failed. So I will keep that.
It wasn't like a thing for me.
It's a thing for me. Well, I got the gallon jug every day, but when guests come in, I'm not gonna like, let me pour you something from my jug. All right.
Why did they say no?
They didn't. They just like were completely dismissive. You want what? Oh, okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I try to go to Zealand, but she closes at 2 also, and I'm like, dude, I can't get shit.
So, but okay, but like that, she does. That's a full restaurant.
No,
Like,
I get it, but
it's not like one person making a sandwich. Would I have complete collision? All right.
Remember, so this week and next week, probably the last time I'll be in person for a while because of that surgery.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
So like that week of the 10th, I may be out that whole week.
Okay.
But then after that, I'll probably be phoning in for multiple weeks.
Yep. We got you covered. Don't worry about it.
I know.
Jeff asked me yesterday if I could do LSU 60 for him on October 9th. And I was like, I would, but I'm going to be out of town. He goes, okay, Nick Diaz.
Wow.
I said, that's Hunter.
That is so aggressive.
He called me Nick Diaz. I said, that's Hunter. His ass is in London right now for the game. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I'm like, is his family rich or something?
616 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Sports time. Let's talk a little Saints football before we move over to LSU Auburn. New Orleans Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu says the team is focused on finishing this week against the Vikings. Says the time the team has had together in London will be helpful in their attempt to bounce back from a slow start to the season. And the Saints have been in London. I believe they got there on either Monday or Tuesday. But Mathieu says this time together is what's got them bouncing back.
Well, obviously, you don't want to never lose 2 games in a row. But I think anytime you're able to kind of get with the team for, a week or so, and it just be us, it kind of, feels like training camp, all over again. And, I think it's good to kind of have those days where we just seeing each other.
Like a mini retreat, really. You get to just hang a little bit, go tour London. Maybe you go visit Ted Lasso for a minute. The Saints defense will have a challenge containing former LSU wide receiver Justin Jefferson, which, let's be real, you're not going to contain Justin Jefferson. He will have a day. He's coming off a lackluster performance against the Lions last week, though, but his first 3 games this season combined have been impressive. Mathieu says the playmaker is built for today's game.
He'll be out wide. He'll be in the slot. They'll even try to match him up on a linebacker. So, and he's a smart player too. So, I think we'll definitely, have to understand where he is in the formation, and then just try our best to, kind of eliminate him.
I mean, but you got so many other receivers out there. It's the age-old question. Do you let the stud get his and shut everybody else down? Or do you do your best to lower his numbers while at the same time allowing guys like Adam Thielen to increase their production or maintain their normal production. The quarterback Jameis Winston has now missed 2 practices, which leads many to believe, and I tend to agree, that Andy Dalton is going to see action this week. Dalton's been getting first-team reps all week long. Matthew, who played Dalton in Cincinnati, is confident in his ability to lead this offense.
He's a great quarterback too. I think when he's in rhythm, he could really make every throw. He can make people look good as well. So
Kickoff, 8 a.m. Sunday. 8 a.m. local time Sunday. Awesome. Get to get in the first quarter before heading to 9 a.m. Mass. Meanwhile, the night before that, LSU will be at Auburn tomorrow night. Kickoff 6 p.m. Network pregame starts at 4, which means Eagle 98.1's game day starts at 1. LSU versus Auburn. Well, give me one quick second. Nope, it's not going to refresh. Like we said, Eagle 98.1's game day coming to your way, 1 p.m. You're going to have Hanny and Musso kicking things off to start that pregame before walking us up to kickoff at 6. Right now, it's time for the Fox Business Report on Talk 107.3. Did he? Who said that?
Carmichael, the offensive coordinator.
He said you're going to have to see Dennis Allen for that. That was the day before yesterday, though.
And this was last night.
I don't think Carmichael speaks on Thursday.
Maybe.
I could be wrong. I honestly didn't pay attention last night. I was paying attention to Thursday Night Football.
So was I. I watched the end of the. I watched Burrow throw that last touchdown. Once that was a 9-point game or whatever, it's like, okay, bedtime now.
Yeah. Well, I needed that last touchdown. Needed. Because the line was 4?
No, because Burrow's my starting quarterback.
Gotcha. I really wish Jamar Chase could have gotten a touchdown.
Me too, because Jamar Chase is one of my wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, I did good with, even without scoring a touchdown, Chase had 12 points last night.
So I'm going up against the affiliates manager for Ramsey's team this week, rather than a different affiliate. I'm 2-1 on the season.
Are they moving the Carolina game, or are they going to leave it in with Ian heading that way?
I don't know. Oh.
Because right about Sunday, Ian should probably be in the middle of North Carolina. No, they're saying by Saturday this thing will be at the Virginia border. North Carolina, Virginia, but by Sunday afternoon it'll long be away.
Hey, morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo.
Chrissy, I got you with the weather next break.
No, you're not playing.
Jason Wheat?
Yeah. No, I do weather.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to play it.
Okay.
I won't.
Every single time I've said no, I'll do the weather there because YouTube yells at me when things bleed over like that.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and do it right now.
Do it.
We're only getting up to 81 degrees today. But earlier in the week, we thought this wasn't going to get over 80. So it's actually slightly warmer than we thought it was going to be. Overnight low tonight down to 51. Tomorrow we top out at 85, 86 on Sunday. 85 and 86 are going to be your highs all week next week. Right now, we're starting off your morning at 57 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. .624, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. All right, if you're not in on YouTube yet, hop in on YouTube. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane. Got to ask the question this morning, and we'll be playing Family Feud on YouTube throughout the breaks this morning as well. I got to ask the question though to lead things off. What is your favorite LSU Auburn game? And that doesn't have to lead to an LSU win, but everybody's got their favorite. Mine is either the Bring Back the Magic game or, I don't even know if this one has a name. It was 2007 when Matt Flynn hit Demetrius Byrd in the back of the end zone and the place just exploded. That was, what a great memory that was. Probably not the most well-advised call, but the most perfect execution there was. LSU was losing. We were down by a point with like under a minute to go. And in the wonderful clock management that was Les Miles, chose not to use their final timeout. And Matt Flynn drops back, finds Demetrius Byrd on a fade route in the back of the end zone. Boom, LSU wins it, and it was glorious. So a lot of the LSU Auburn games end up with a name after the fact. I'm curious as to if this one is going to reach that level. As Auburn comes in with a coach who could be fired any moment now. A third or fourth string quarterback starting this week. It's going to be it's going to be one that if it plays out the way it's supposed to play out, this should be an easy win for LSU. But because the series is what the series is, there's going to be that modicum of doubt left in your mind. All right. Council for a Better Louisiana has now canceled its scheduled October 20th U.S. Senate debate. You're going to hear more about this in news at the bottom of the hour. It would have been Senator Kennedy against Luke Mixon and Gary Chambers. Not that they're tag teaming, but that's how it was going to play out. Barry Irwin, who's the president for the Council for a Better Louisiana, says Kennedy's campaign will not commit to a specific date because his schedule is uncertain. Irwin feels it's important for candidates to take part in televised forums.
To talk face-to-face, so to speak, in a live debate with voters about their issues, about their record, about what they've done, what they plan to do in the future. So, of course, we're disappointed.
As you would be, and I expect Barry Irwin would be, and I'm sure that all the folks at Council for a Better Louisiana are as well, and I'm also certain that many Louisianans are disappointed by this, because as we get closer and closer to election date, it gets harder and harder to nail down a date on short notice. If your schedule of October 20th is uncertain on September 30th, I mean, that's 3 weeks away. So how can you map something out between now and then? Irwin says cable provided the candidates with a debate date and time many, many weeks ago. So the news from the Kennedy camp is a big disappointment. He says it's hard to have an election debate with no incumbent. Irwin says there may yet be some hope that the candidates will square off before that November 8th election.
I'm hopeful, even though we've had to cancel our debate and won't be able to have it, that Senator Kennedy and the other candidates will be able to get together in some other forum so voters have a chance to hear what they have to say.
Yeah, well, don't hold your breath. Barry Irwin says a live televised debate gives voters a better idea at who the candidates really are because they are unrehearsed and spontaneous. He says more and more political candidates are becoming reluctant to take part.
And I think maybe a lot of that has to do with the rise of social media and the fact that candidates can get the word out in that type of setting that really they have a lot more control over than they do otherwise in a live debate.
Yeah, and this is where I disagree with him completely. Live debates are not debates. Live debates are 90-second canned answers. Live debates are well rehearsed, even though they are live and have the potential for spontaneity. Every answer you hear is well rehearsed, and there's no real back and forth. Oh, you have 30 seconds for a rebuttal. Okay, great. Give me an open forum. Give me a back and forth that really dives deep. Give me more than just 90-second canned answers looking for a 10-word soundbite. And that's what you get from every debate today. Look, if I'm John Kennedy, I have no reason to participate, by the way. I'm the incumbent. I'm the front runner. All I have to gain, well, I'd have a lot more to lose than I would to gain. I'm going to have Luke Mixon and Gary Chambers just taking shots at me to chip away, to raise their status. And this is no offense to Luke or Gary, but to raise their status by lowering mine. I'm the incumbent. I'm the front runner. I have zero reason to step in this ring. I will have two guys coming at me, not going at each other, but coming at me if I'm John Kennedy. So he has no reason to participate. His numbers are not going to go down if he doesn't participate. His visibility to the public is not going to go down if he doesn't participate. He's got a war chest like you wouldn't believe to buy all the ads in the world. You will see him all over social media. You will see him all over TV. You will hear him all over radio. He has no reason to participate in this debate. No, by the way, a 60-second TV commercial is only 30 seconds shorter than those canned answers you're going to get in a quote-unquote debate. No, and the thing, I hate the term debate because it is not a debate. It is a question and answer period from a moderator with the chance for other candidates to chime in just a little bit. There's no back and forth, like real, genuine back and forth that digs down deep to get to the bottom of an answer without just giving talking points. We're not allowed that form, especially not in a TV format. So, yeah, Barry Irwin's holding out hope that there will be a debate. I'm saying you can hope in one hand. And, hey, it's time for news. Let's check CBS News and our own local news, traffic, and weather here on Talk 107.3. It's one of my favorites. When you hear yeah. You can hope in one hand and shit in the other. Will you tell your dad that is my favorite thing? When people get their cars broken into, and I say broken into, when they leave their cars unlocked, and people steal shit from their cars, and they say, well, I shouldn't have to lock my doors at night. My rebuttal is always, well, we don't live in the land of shouldn't. Same. They took my gun out of my car. Oh, my God. They broke the window? No, it was unlocked. You left a deadly weapon unlocked? Holy crap. Now, I'm to the point where if you're the person who left it unlocked, you're guilty. Yeah.
There's a couple of pens and some paper wadded up on the floor, but
I was always kind of like scared to catch the ball because I thought it was like gonna hit me and whatever, right? Like, so I was like kind of scared to catch the ball. And my dad would always be like, "Don't move out of the way." He's like, "It first of all, it only hurts for a second," and then he'll be like, "Pain is weakness leaving the body."
Who's your dad, Tyler Durden?
I don't know. My dad's crazy, but he tells me that all the time. Like, and I used to be, well, I still kind of am, but I used to be like very scared of getting like shots or my blood drawn or whatever, and he'd just always be like, pain is weakness leaving the body. He's crazy. Yeah. And he's always like, it only hurts for a second.
The thing is, it does only hurt for a second.
It really does. Yeah. So, yeah, it really does only hurt for a second. But like, my dad's crazy. Yeah, one time I like got hit in the forehead. Busted my eyebrow open.
Nolan Ryan wasn't Nolan Ryan in Little League, you know.
Yeah, this is when I was little. Like first starting to play.
I'll never forget.
My dad is like one of those hard, like, you know.
Coach,
yeah, he's like a hard ass dad.
My high school baseball coach. I was in the on deck circle, and kid's name was Paul, who was up to bat. And this just like slow ass pitch comes in, and Paul like dives out of the way. We had bases loaded, and it would have scored a run that would have put us in the lead. And he dove out of the way, and Coach Malden was so pissed. He hops up off the bench. He's like, "Why wouldn't you step into that?" Wait, it gets better. Your butt was made to take a pounding. Phrasing.
Right?
Ooh, I didn't even take it that direction.
Yeah.
I took it immediately in that direction.
Believe me, every high school junior took it that way.
Yeah.
Your butt was made to take a pounding.
I used to love when like coaches would be like lecturing you, like yelling at you, and then they would like slip up and you're trying so hard not to laugh.
But you know they're gonna get more pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was the difference. Like the number of times we had to run till we puked was just all because, and every other coach knows that the one coach who's getting angrier is constantly in the wrong, but he can't stop yelling because then it's over with. Morning, T-Bob. What's the funniest thing a coach ever yelled at you, T-Bob?
Tommy Moffett yelled, your ass is so wide that you can spell Mississippi across the back.
That's good.
Oops. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give a question before we come back in. Name something in your house with 4 legs. Top 6 answers are on the board.
Something in your house with 4 legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Name Woody. Byron said, I had a coach tell me, good thing there's a chess club. That's good. Oh no, my dad, like, he was crazy. I was like 5 years old, and like me and my brother, we were kids. Wait, hold on. Weather. Go ahead.
Time to get a look at your weekend forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Jeansonne Wheat. Nailed it.
We were like kids, and my dad would like call us over. And he'd be like, stand at attention. So like me and my brother, we would be like this. And then he would be like asking us questions, and we'd be like, yes. And he's like, yes, what? We're like, yes, sir. Like these little militant kids.
Oh my God, I had the most offensive conversation. Somebody was asking why Florida doesn't have a Cajun Navy like we do. It's like, because they're not Cajun. It's like, well, they could have their own Florida thing. I'm like, what, the meth Marines? Reporting in from the Jorts Squadron. Yeah, it's time for a cup of Tech Gumbo. We welcome in Haggai Davis, host of Tech Gumbo. What's happening, dude?
Ready for another Friday.
Nice. Thank you, by the way, for filling in last Friday.
Oh, it was fun.
We had to play carpool time, so which, by the way, is pretty great.
Oh, it's fun.
It's a lot of fun.
It can be.
Yeah.
I don't know about every day, but occasionally it's
well,
fun.
it reminds you that every 30 seconds you could turn around and go, I said, settle down. And you can't threaten to turn the car around when you're going to school.
Right.
It's not like vacation where we will go home right now. Oh, okay. No, you can't do that. It's school.
And the law doesn't allow you to put your hands around their throat and shake.
Right. And
get their attention.
You can't stop short. You can't slam on the brakes just to check them either.
No.
Because they're properly buckled in.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Right. I say let's take them to school without the seatbelts on and just roll the dice. That way, if I have to pump the brakes real quick, right into the back of the seat.
Well, that's what it was like when I was a kid, before there were seatbelts.
Right.
And there were steel dashboards.
Oh, my. Well, so that's in the front seat.
Yeah.
But when you had
because you always stood on the front seat of the car.
And you had, yes, either that or you sat in the window or the back.
And that was vacation.
Yeah. Yeah. And the front seat was like one long seat that went the whole way across. It took multiple people to move it forward or backward.
Bench seat.
Yeah.
Me and my brother used to sit in the same passenger seat, and my dad would put the seatbelt over the both of us.
Did it just go across your face?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's either put it behind you and have no safety, or move it down and it just chokes you out. Good times. All right, we got a lot of ground to cover today. I got to start, though, because, on this coming Tech Gumbo, you interviewed somebody that I interviewed this week as well.
Absolutely.
And this guy is on his way to being a rock star.
Oh, he's awesome.
We're talking about Dr. Abe McGeely over at LSU's cybersecurity department, LSU's soon-to-be world-renowned cybersecurity department.
Already are.
Yeah.
Now that they've got that designation, one of 22 schools in the country that has this NSA level designation, that it just sets LSU apart from everybody else. I mean, when it comes to the study in cybersecurity and the research that they're doing, I mean, we talked a good bit before we recorded the show, and we talked about it a good bit on the show, some of the research that they're doing. And I would love to take this guy's class if I was smart enough. I don't think I am, though. But the types of research they go after is so fun. I mean, because he wants to have fun as much.
He started talking about implanted microchips in people and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and I asked him straight up, I was like, how close are we to living sci-fi in real life? He's like, we already are.
Well, so one of the things he wants to do, he wants to be the first one to do a paper on cyber research that involves pig skin, because they're going to bring in a pig and inject these chips into pigs and see how it responds, because that's, kind of, instead of pulling in a cadaver, they can just go get a pig and inject those chips into the pigs.
Interesting.
And do that research. How does the cyber, research break down the forensics of that chip and what it's been doing when it's implanted in a pig? That's kind of cool stuff.
So you and I were talking before the show about, I just went off on a rant, actually, with LSU. We have world-class faculty in a number of different departments, and we get no ROI from it, or not enough ROI from it. We don't do enough. LSU does not do enough to sell everything that's not sports to LSU's alumni base.
The LSU physics department is a top 20 physics program in the country. I mean, LSU's physics department is what runs the LIGO system out there in Livingston Parish. They're the ones who proved gravitational wave theory, one of Einstein's theory. LSU did that.
Mm-hmm.
Not Stanford, not MIT, not Harvard, LSU.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you 98% of the world doesn't even know LSU has a physics department.
Right.
And we should be celebrating. I mean, there's some really smart folks over there in that department.
Yeah.
My son graduated with an astrophysics degree. And, it's just really impressive what LSU has in engineering and mathematics. And you go right down the list of all the STEM programs that LSU has that they are so good at.
Well, the guy driving the Mars rover.
Yes. He's an LSU alumni.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, All we need to do is put a Go Tigers bumper sticker on the back of the Rover, and now all of a sudden people wouldn't realize, hey, that's an LSU guy at the steering wheel.
So, and this is the thing. It's very easy to sell on Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Or Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. Which, side note, I kind of Ron Burgundied my copy earlier and read straight up that it was 8 o'clock kickoff on Sunday. It's 8:30. My bad. But it's easy to sell off the sports personalities because they're overwhelming personalities.
They're on TV every weekend.
This is where guys like Abe, they're great personalities as well. We've got to find a way to, and I'm not trying to downplay the importance of or the value we have on our sports culture here. I'm not trying to downplay that. I'm trying to raise up the other side by saying we've got to find a way to make it translatable to a younger generation to where it's important to them to go to LSU to study something other than student section on Saturdays.
If we could get somebody like Shaq or Booger McFarland or any one of the LSU guys that are on ESPN to start bringing some of the academic folks into the spotlight, that would help raise the level of understanding of the amazing things that LSU is doing.
And there's been no shortage of personality within these departments, though. It's physics, it's cybersecurity, it's like heavy science where people can tend to glaze over very, very quickly if it's not made for the layperson.
Well, I think President Tate is doing a really, really good job of bringing in world-class talent.
Yeah.
And I think I know before it was always they'd kind of tampered down the, hey, you're not even the senior professor yet. You don't even have tenure. You don't get on the media yet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the way it is anymore. And so I'm excited to see somebody like Professor Big Ely come on our show, come on your show, and to be so good, so entertaining, so full of amazing information.
Yeah.
That was
so
fun.
You hit it on the right word, though, entertaining. And making that translatable is not an easy thing to do because, like I said, I'll be the first to admit I glaze over quickly. If I'm not understanding, I will do my best to understand for a minute, and then I'll be like, yeah, I don't get it. I can either continue to try to not get it or just clock out and make a dumb joke. And we'll more often than not make the dumb joke. But
so it's very difficult to take technoese and translate it back into English.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that, and I get that. I mean, I've spent a career trying to figure out how to do it because there's a lot of what goes on in the IT and telecom world. I live and swim in a sea of acronyms. Yeah. That if I sat there and started rolling off this stuff, your listeners would be pushing buttons to get to different channels automatically.
This is why we do this segment, though, right? I mean,
Exactly.
This is like, because it's stuff that applies to our everyday world. It's every time, think about it, on the most basic level, every time you have to put your thumb over your iPhone to log back in, that's something that went through cyber. That is a form of cybersecurity.
That is multi-factor authentication.
Right.
Absolutely. And look, we at Tech Gumbo, that's what we do. We talk about things that people can understand.
Exactly. All right, we're going to break. We got a lot more ground to cover here, but we got to break. So your money now, or I'm sorry, traffic, and then your money now coming up on the back end of this break right here on Talk 107.3. LSU once again sets records in academic quality of freshman class.
Mm-hmm.
So the LSU Foundation, they've got the tools there to build this. It's just such a hard sell because we try to sell it through. We don't sell it through what the appeal.
It's tough to. How do you make that into a TikTok video? I mean, those little commercials you see on every football game or basketball game where pushes LSU and you get flash of different things. It's how do you take that press release and make a TikTok video to where everyone go, ooh, that was interesting.
So during the breaks in Tiger Stadium, there's one where they'll do the NFL SU.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one where there's another break where they do all the alumni that are in different STEM fields, working for NASA, this sort of thing. And like, if they can do that in Tiger Stadium when everybody's, half drunk and not paying attention, they've got to be a way to turn that in. The one I would like to see is start grabbing LSU students and or professors and doing side-by-side breakdowns of sci-fi movies. Like you could squeeze something that's completely unrealistic in very real, understandable terms for, in a 1 minute time or a 2 minute time frame.
I hope LSU's listening to this conversation.
Well, it's going to sound like we're crapping on them.
No, we're really
but
not.
We're not. I know.
We're celebrating LSU because there's amazing stuff going on over there. But pull back you lift up the tent, let some light come out.
Yeah.
Let everybody else know just how amazing things are over there.
Yeah. So what you need to do is, I tell you another angle they need to explore is taking the really, really smart guy and then the really, really funny guy and pairing them together and let funny guy translate for smart guy. Get like a Theo Vaughn or somebody and go at it from that angle. Hey, did we get any answers on the first Family Feud question? My 8 diabetic roommates. Repeat the question, and then we'll give answers during the break.
The question is, name something in your house with 4 legs.
All right. So I'm guessing, since this has been out there for a little while, we can give the answers now.
This will be like 15 seconds.
Okay. Walking you up to your money now on Talk 1073 FM. Just enough time to ask you to visit talk1073.com. Donate to Folds of Honor today. We teamed up with Acura of Baton Rouge to help raise money for scholarships.
All right.
Cat, dog, hamster,
pet.
Table.
Oh, is pet the whole?
Pet, yeah.
Oh, Haggai says table. Nicely done.
Table's the number 1 answer.
Okay.
Pet was number 2. Chair is number 3.
Okay.
Bed, insect, and couch.
Insects have 6 legs.
It depends on the insect.
Some have 8.
But that would be an arachnid.
Oh, I don't know.
What insect has 4 legs?
I don't know.
All right.
How many legs do roaches have?
You know what has 4 legs? My stepped up parlay for the Bengals last night. Boom!
Let's go. Okay.
Next question.
Next question. Name something a husband might do when his pregnant wife yells, "It's time." Top 8 answers are on the board. Name something a husband might do when his pregnant wife yells, "It's time."
Is misinterpret on the board? Hello. Hi there.
That's a good one. That's great. That's, yes, obviously, as dads.
It's time. Yeah, it is.
I was wondering how that would be played, but yes. So where you want to go from here? You want to?
We'll talk a little bit about farms because you
that was a response. It was we got fact checked by a listener because in the previous show, Haggai said that all of the farms are owned by big corporations.
Most of them are.
No, they're not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's still like 70% are owned.
Well, the headline says they're producing less and becoming.
It's becoming less and less and less, but it's
gotcha. Oh, here, this is the headline of the next one. That is how America's food giants swallowed the family farms.
All right. Do you want to do the NASA DART?
Yeah. Let's start there.
Okay.
652 Talk 1073 FM WBRP. Cup of Tech Gumbo is mornings with Brian Haldane. Rules right along. Haggai Davis is in with us. Hey, just to put a button on that last portion of the segment before we move on, I don't want that to sound like we're pooping on the LSU Foundation or the Alumni Association or anything like that. It's just we're in a different world now where it's not the same pitch. And look, the numbers are what the numbers are, and athletics are clearly outpacing. And it's not just here.
We want LSU to be celebrated as much as anything else. We're both celebrating LSU. We both are alumni and love LSU. we want everyone else to know as much about LSU as we do.
Exactly, because there's just a lot of fun
Yep.
within that. All right, moving on.
Yes.
There's a headline that I can't get past. NASA crashes DART spacecraft into asteroid, world's first planetary defense test. Okay, did NASA collectively not watch the movie Armageddon?
Apparently not, but this is the first time ever NASA wanted one of their spacecrafts to be destroyed.
Yes.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. They launched their double asteroid rendezvous test, or the DART, and this rocket doing 14,000 miles an hour hit a moonlet coming at it at 38,000 miles an hour. And if you haven't seen the video, please go watch it. It is the coolest thing. Pull it up on YouTube and go to space.com. There's all kind of places. Go to nasa.com. But you see the images of this rock, and it gets closer and closer, and all of a sudden you see the development, and you see the rocks, and this thing gets right up close, and then the screen goes orange. It just bang! Oh, there, and everybody gets so excited because it lost contact. That meant it hit hard, and the whole idea was to see. They weren't trying to destroy this rock that was kind of orbiting around a comet or a space rock or whatever. They just want to see if they could nudge it.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea, now over
change
the next
the
several
trajectory
weeks,
slightly.
yes, if they can, when this thing, if an asteroid was coming directly at the Earth, if about 30 million miles away, they can nudge it 1/10 of a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And to change its direction just 1/10 of 1% of a degree. From that far away, it misses the Earth by millions and millions of miles.
Yeah.
So if by hitting this thing, instead of having to send up Bruce Willis and have them drill a hole into it, if they can just nudge it, that's all we got to do.
So, and it wasn't just Armageddon. There was recently a movie called Don't Look Up. Basically the same premise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And there was a cartoon, more than a decade ago, called Frisky Dingo, where the bad guy wanted to blow up the Earth with a device he called the Annihilatrix, and instead of blowing up the Earth, it pushed the Earth a little bit further away from the sun, and he solved global warming.
There you go.
So, we've seen it. We've seen it on film. So if we could take TV and movies and turn it into real life, we're right back to our prior part of the segment.
So the idea that they could hit Dimorphos, which is the moonlet rolling around Didymus, then that's all they were trying to do, is to just see, can we nudge it just a little bit? And so there's footage out there of pictures of the James Webb telescope and the Hubble were both watching. There's land-based telescopes that have been taking pictures of it, or that took pictures of the impact. And so it's going to be real cool to see over the next weeks and months as they study the trajectory.
And there's the follow-up, is did it work?
Yes. That's what we won't know until we watch where it actually...
What does it take to divert this sort of thing? In the case that, one day there's something coming right at us, can we shift it?
In this space rock that we hit was about the size of one of the Great Pyramids. And we hit it with...
A golf cart size.
Something about the size of a golf cart.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the DART spacecraft was described as golf cart size. Dimorphos was the name? Slammed into Okay. I'm done with that. So, yeah, the tough part here is the wait and see on the success versus failure. We've only got about...
Here we go. Look, there's the video of it coming in. So you can see... you see the images of the rocks getting clearer. We're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, that's the impact of just how clear the image of it, and boom.
And then boom, it's done. Okay. So if you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening on the radio, that video, as technologically advanced as it is to get that to us, was very Plan 9 from outer space. Like Dracula got out of the DART when it landed.
When you can see just how clear this image is, and right now you're still thousands of miles away as you're zooming in at 14,000 miles an hour.
Back to the top, before we get out of here, back to the top of the discussion, this is what LSU is faced with. Half the people watching this are like, all this technology and it's still in black and white. Like, that's the level that we're at. That's the message they have. That's the chasm they have to traverse in order to sell science.
But also notice as you're looking how dark everything is around it. Like, there's no stars in the background because, as my son, the astrophysicist will tell you, space is big.
Space is big. And it's getting bigger.
Yes. Yeah. It's expanding.
Hey, we got less than a minute to go here. What else is coming up on the show this week?
We're going to talk a lot about Starlink. We kind of beat that subject up a whole lot, but there was a big review on that. TikTok is totally banning any kind of political ads and fundraising, which is a good thing. We'll see if it really holds up. And the price of solar power and generating it is coming down and down and down, as are the number of electric vehicles are being more and more sold.
We're at the 13% now?
11% in the United States.
11%.
27% of the world is electric vehicles were sold in China.
All right. They have successfully transferred the burden of creating that electricity.
It's
Tech
happening.
Gumbo, Saturday and Sunday at 4 right here on Talk 107.3 FM for the full serving. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcast. Haggai, I always appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Brian.
Here comes CBS News. So the other one I wanted to get to, and I probably should have prioritized this before getting off, but the LSU thing was more of an emotional soapbox, so it's a better topic. San Francisco passes controversial surveillance plan.
Yeah, that one bothers me. That they now, and it's a 15-month trial.
No.
But you're just the police can just, if they have access to cameras, they're going to pull into my Ring camera and look out. If you have surveillance cameras outside of your business, they're going to tap into those. And the thing that bothers me, or it doesn't say anything in any of the articles I could find, is this humans looking at these images, or is this artificial intelligence doing the scanning? Because AI has a very, very poor track record when it comes to identifying what it's looking at.
Right, and there's the rub, because if AI does a poor job and humans looking at it crosses that privacy threshold, you're left in the lurch where you're either going to get a bad result or a bad result.
And this mayor is trying to fight crime, and there's a lot of good things that the mayor is trying to do. It's just not. We're a country of laws for a reason, and to just bypass them because we're going to try something different, it just doesn't pass the smell test.
Right.
That's the problem with it.
So one of the city supervisors, Shaman Walton, voted in dissent. The quote in the story was, I know the thought process is just trust us, just trust the police department, but the reality is people have been violating civil liberty since my ancestors were brought here from an entirely completely different continent. That level of distrust is not going to be solved by this. This is one where all sides should be able to come together.
Mm-hmm.
To say, whoa. To quote Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Exactly. And and I get they're trying to fight crime, and this is a tool that can help solve and prevent crimes. I get that. But there's so many privacy and personal liberty issues that are just being glossed over here.
Right.
And
the 15-month trial thing, look.
I know. Show me a government program that has ever ended.
Show me the tax that actually sunsets. If my city comes to me and says, after 15 months, we're going to put the crap back in the horse, I'm just not buying it.
No.
Now, the only decent takeaway from this is it's outdoor footage. From a very practical perspective, can you separate outdoor from indoor when it comes to what you've got going on in your house?
And that's a great question. Are they like when we were talking with Dr. McGeely, He said, "Look, do you have a Roomba in your house? You know, if it's one of the newer ones." I said, "Oh, you mean like the one I have that maps the house and goes around?" He said, "Yeah, we're researching inside of those to see if there's been a murder in your house. If there was a murder, can we go back to the Roomba and see if when did the Roomba detect something like that?" I'm like, "Oh, fun."
How would a Roomba detect a murder?
If it as it's going through the house and normally there's not something there, but now there's a body in the middle of the floor.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Well, but that's you're using the Internet of Things, a dumb device you're looking at its history. Hey, there wasn't something there Tuesday, but Wednesday, all of a sudden there's a big something in the middle of the floor. Oh, that's right. The murder happened Wednesday morning, and the Roomba saw that.
Okay, but like if you leave a beanbag chair on the ground, you're going to get the same result. That's unbelievably inaccurate.
Maybe.
I'd rather turn to the Alexa for the gunshot.
And while we were on the show, because I have the Alexa sitting right next to where we record, so he brought up Alexa and starts talking, and he said, "Okay, watch this. Alexa, call Haggai Davis III." And he's talking to my Alexa device from across a Teams meeting. And he said, this is the kind of impact that research we can have because your Alexa is listening. He said, there's already been cases where murders have been solved because of Alexas listening in the house.
Totally agree with that. Roomba.
But it's
sans a camera that would either record or send back in real time. Just bumping into something doesn't.
But it's just the first step of what's going on inside your own house with all of the devices that are all connecting and talking to one another.
Right.
You have that refrigerator that's connected to the internet that tells you, hey, you're low on milk. Go stop at the store. Well, what else is it looking at?
I'm going to remind you again, you have to watch Silicon Valley. You have to.
Okay.
They power a decentralized internet off of smart fridges. At one point during the show. That's not all the show's about, but that's one of the little.
Where's that live?
HBO Max.
It is HBO Max?
Yeah. I really think you would enjoy it.
I bet I would.
Oh. Time for your forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Jeansonne Wheat. I had white in my head for some reason.
I'm going to have some time to watch things here.
Yeah, you will. And yeah, you'll enjoy it. But so if the Roomba bumps into, I would like to see the person who's falsely arrested for that.
Well, I don't think you could be arrested for it, but if it's just one more piece of evidence, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You're using forensics to go through the different devices that were like copiers. They've part of one of the researches they've done, get the hard drives out of old copiers because all of the things you copy stay on that hard drive. So you're making photocopies of highly sensitive information,
the secretary's butt cheeks,
or other anatomy parts.
Tax records.
Yes.
Corporate information.
Yeah, things like that.
707 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Alondra producing. Thanks again to Haggai Davis for sitting in for a cup of tech gumbo. If you were watching on YouTube, you got a whole bonus serving. Went back for seconds today, to be sure. So, and there's still so much we didn't get to. Just if you missed any of it, it'll be available on demand at talk1073.com after the show is over with today. We've got a busy hour for you this hour. Judd Jeansonne is going to join us in our next segment. He is with Volunteer Louisiana, one of the many, many, many outlets helping out Florida in the wake of Hurricane Ian. Well, we've had our fair share. We've had more than our fair share over the last few years here in Louisiana. And we've seen numerous people come in from all around the country to help us out. And now we are getting the opportunity, and I hate to use the term opportunity when talking about a deadly hurricane, what might be one of the most deadly hurricanes in Florida's history. But this is what we're presented with right now, is the chance to pay back, the chance to help out, as we have been helped so much in the past. So we'll talk with Judd Jeansonne on our next segment. Chef Jeff Tila is going to be with us this hour as well. 7:40 is when we'll have Chef Jeff Tila from the Halloween Cookie Challenge on the Food Network. Getting to be about that time, y'all. Tomorrow the calendar turns over to October, which means all things Halloween are going to just infest our lives. And I'm here for it. Chef Jeff Tila joining us in later on this hour. Going to get you to top stories and trending in just a minute. Got to remind you about the folks over at Complete Collision Center, though. They've got 2 locations, Plank Road up in Zachary and Perkins just east of Bluebonnet here in Baton Rouge. Doug and his team over at Complete Collision Center, they pride themselves on their certifications. They're certified by more than a dozen major manufacturers. They keep up to speed with all the latest training techniques, all the latest knowledge that goes into all the pieces of your car that can put your car back together, basically the way it came off the line in the first place. And when the people who make the car say go here to fix the car, that's who I'm listening to. That's if the manufacturer says go there, that's who I'm trusting. And oh, by the way, they've got the iCar Gold Class certification as well, which puts them in the top 15% of body shops nationwide. Check them out online at CompleteCollision.com. Oh, one other part of this process that gets overlooked is their level of communication. I don't just tell you about Complete Collision every day on the show. I'm actually a customer of Complete Collision 3 times in the last year now. But their level of communication is beyond compare. Throughout all the issues we've had, from supply chain to labor shortage, you name it, we've had issues since the beginning of the pandemic here, right? Well, Complete Collision makes sure that they are upfront and on the same, you are on the same page with them every step of the way throughout the process of having your car repaired and getting you back on the road safely. 768-9898. 768-9898 is the phone number. Don't let who you choose to repair your vehicle be your second accident. Check out CompleteCollision.com. Time for top stories and trending. Let's roll. For parts of Florida, Hurricane Ian has left behind a path of destruction. Vehicles and homes submerged in floodwater. Pieces of buildings and belongings litter the beach in Fort Myers. The Cajun Navy Ground Force is headed to the site of the damage to provide some much-needed assistance from Louisiana. Multiple state agencies are also helping out, including the Louisiana National Guard, Hazard Management Team, and even the Department of Children and Family Services, which they have a great track record, all lending to a helping hand over to the Sunshine State. By the way, like we said, Judd Jeansonne is going to join us in our next segment to talk a lot more about that story. Tomorrow night, crews are going to shut down I-110 and I-10 overnights tonight. I-110 and I-10 in separate late-night closures to replace overhanging signage on the interstate. DOTD says 110 northbound and 10 westbound are going to be closed October 1st. No, it is tomorrow night, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The following morning, I-110 will be closed near the split, and I-10 will be closed between Dalrymple and Louise Streets. In their statement, DOTD reassures everyone that the interstates will not be closed at the same time. They're actually going to serve as each other's detour route. During the closures, traffic on 10 eastbound will not be affected. Traffic on 110 southbound will also not be affected, except for the Terrace Street off-ramp closure. A fugitive was shot to death by officers, get this, after he deliberately crashed into a law enforcement vehicle and shot at federal agents in a neighborhood near the Baker City limits early yesterday morning. In a statement Thursday evening, state police said the U.S. Marshals Task Force was tracking down 51-year-old David Jones, who was wanted on several felony warrants. Around 7 a.m., authorities found Jones driving on Wisdom Drive, which runs through a neighborhood off Old Baker Zachary Road. While trying to flee from officers, troopers said Jones intentionally crashed his SUV into a task force member's vehicle. He then got out and started shooting a gun toward the officers before running through the neighborhood to get away. Officers eventually stopped Jones in front of a residence in the neighborhood. Jones reportedly pulled his gun on them again and, well, they shot him. Jones was struck multiple times, died at the scene. No one else was injured, according to state police. State police did confirm the shooting is still under investigation, though I gotta wonder why. It's pretty much there. Oh, months after her 2-year-old son died from a fentanyl overdose, third fentanyl overdose, a grand jury has formally charged Whitney Ard with murder in a case that has since kicked off a wave of scrutiny directed at the Department of Children and Family Services. Court records show a grand jury handed down an indictment for second-degree murder on Thursday. Comes about 3 months after Ard's son, Mitchell Robinson III, swallowed the drug which Ard had allegedly stashed under her bed. Ard had been arrested in a huge fentanyl bust a little more than a month before the toddler's death and apparently stored narcotics inside her home. Despite that and the fact that paramedics had to save the child from 2 prior overdoses in the months before his death, the boy was not removed from his mother's home. Arrest documents and parish officials said 3 separate reports were sent to DCFS about the child's near-death experiences prior to that deadly overdose in June. Deputies, East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's deputies announced this morning an arrest has been made in a shooting that happened 2 weeks ago back on September 15th. The EBR Sheriff's Office said it worked with State Police Fugitive Task Force to investigate a shooting that left 20-year-old Arian Franklin dead in the courtyard area of an apartment complex on Yorkfield Drive off O'Neill Lane. The investigation led law enforcement to arrest 18-year-old Destin Brogan for the shooting death of Franklin. Brogan admitted to deputies that he had shot Franklin during a narcotics transaction and then stole Franklin's handgun. Deputies said Brogan was booked on 1 count of first-degree murder, armed robbery, and illegal possession of a stolen firearm. Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending this morning. Hey, Alondra, how long has it been since we've checked in on the shark alligator rule?
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. It's been at least 2 weeks.
Yep.
Well, you knew this was coming. You knew this was coming in the wake of a storm in Florida. Remarkable footage has revealed a real-life... I can't do this. Okay, bear in mind, I'm just reading
What is
here.
going on?
Remarkable footage has revealed a real-life Sharknado.
What?
Let the story play out, because that's very misleading. That's a very misleading lead sentence. As a shark was spotted swimming the streets of flooded Florida during Hurricane Ian, the raw video saw the sea beast swimming over the back fence of a property in a downtown area in the south of Fort Myers. Some may draw comparisons to the infamous Sharknado film series in which tornado flooding causes havoc on the streets of Los Angeles. Wait a minute. Yeah, okay, Sharknado 2 was New York. It's not clear what type of shark was seen roaming the Fort Myers streets, but the animal is common in the area with bull, hammerhead, blacktip, and lemon sharks, all known to roam the Florida seas. Now, is this something that Snopes is going to sniff out quickly, like the footage of the orca? If you didn't see that, congrats. You're better off for it. On Twitter, U.S. journalist Jane Litavenko said, quote, over half a decade of debunking this hoax every time there was a flood or hurricane. I can't believe I'm looking at an honest-to-God street shark.
Street shark!
The flooding in the state is I mean, just absolutely.
I saw the manatee video.
Also, I think, has been debunked.
Aw.
Yeah. I mean, when you see Free Willy going up Main Street,
I wouldn't have believed Free Willy.
The number of
manatee, I
people that
believed it.
shared the orca was just stupid.
Like, there's no way there's an orca in the street. A manatee, I could buy it.
So a bull shark, I can buy.
Yeah,
too.
I could buy a shark, but
I mean,
a orca?
I've seen bull sharks like everywhere from the Mississippi River to Bayou Castine and Mandeville. Like,
yeah,
they'll get loose every once in a while. Those are your top stories in trending. We are due up for a break. When we come back from that break, a more serious look at what's going on in Florida. Judd Jeansonne from Volunteer Louisiana is up next. I've got to go get a little bit of water. Yeah. Why am I still sore 3 days later?
All right, let me give y'all another question. Oh, we didn't. Okay, so y'all had some good answers for that. The only one, let's see. Oh, Renee, can you wait till halftime? That's a good one. I didn't see that. There's somebody who had one right. Pour a double. That's good, Troy. Jason said freak out.
Still the most heartbreaking TikTok.
Freak out. Panic/scream. So Jason had the number one answer.
How about
nobody else had an answer except for
my
Jason?
answer's be cool.
Panic slash scream.
Not in my house.
He slash get the car. Faint. Call family slash yell mom. Okay.
Faint.
Okay.
I don't use the term beta male very often.
Okay. So if you're calling for your mom while your wife is laboring, you're also a beta male.
Who wears the penis in that family?
She's going into labor. Oh, I didn't pick a song.
Speaking of backups, that could go so many different directions. Too much cheese. Back it up. Speaking of backups, grab the wall. $7:19, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right. These last few years have been difficult, to say the least, in Louisiana. That mix of pandemic plus natural disaster has been trying, to say the least. And we have called on our neighbors. Actually, we haven't even had to call on them. Our neighbors have stepped up to the call before even receiving it to help us out. Hurricane Ian rips through South Florida, and I mean rips through South Florida. It's hard to call a disaster of this magnitude an opportunity. But here in Louisiana, we have the opportunity to pay our neighbors back, and we're doing just that. Joining me now from Volunteer, Louisiana, is Judd Jeansonne. Judd, good morning. Welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you, man?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
No, glad to have you on. It feels weird to use the term opportunity for a situation like this, but it kind of is where we're at right now. We can show our neighbors that we're just as neighborly.
Louisiana has taken it on the chin the past couple of years. We've had a record number of named storms hit us, and each time we've depend on the kindness of strangers and neighbors. And we're very fortunate that we haven't had a storm hit us this season. Knock on wood. Hope that continues. But we see that our neighbors to the east, Florida, just really devastated by Hurricane Ian. So it is an opportunity for Louisianans to return the favor and to help our neighbors in need.
Yes, it absolutely is. So from Volunteer Louisiana's perspective, what are we up to? How are we helping?
Well, at this point, we're reaching out to our sister state commission, which is Volunteer Florida, to see if there's any ways that we can assist. Of course, everything is really still in the assessment stage right now. Conditions on the ground are not safe. But what they are doing and asking us to help promote is there is a Florida Disaster Fund at floridadisasterfund.org. That's through Volunteer Florida. Those funds go out to the organizations and the families that are in need. And you can even easier, you can text disaster to 20222 and make a donation to the Florida Disaster Fund for Hurricane Ian. That's going to be the most important thing right now is getting resources there. Once things get a little bit safer and damage assessments are made, there will probably be some opportunities for volunteer groups to go down and assist.
In what way? Because I know Cajun Navy's already en route, but what they do is a little bit different than what y'all do, and this is it just lends back to the bigger story of how many different ways there are to help. So once everything's deemed safe and we can head east to Florida, in what ways can people volunteer?
That's a great distinction that you make, and if you talk about some of the Cajun Navy organizations, and there's multiples of them, a lot of what some of those organizations do is still in the search and rescue phase. And they're trained to do that. Their volunteers are trained to do that. But it's not something that the general public's going to do, right? You don't want to self-deploy, show up in Florida, and get yourself in harm's way. What I'm really talking about is that second wave after you get through search and rescue and you start to get into the response phase and you get into feeding and the sheltering, et cetera, that's when the bodies are going to be needed. And, more of the general public can go out and help, and that'll be that second wave. And that's when you need infrastructure, you need places to house people, et cetera. That's that next wave that'll come. It may take a while because the devastation on this storm is just severe. The footage is just unbelievable to see how many areas are just completely flattened. And so it may take a little while to get to that space because they want to make sure that they can support volunteers before volunteers come in. But that's what we're looking at. That second phase is the sheltering, the feeding operations, and then the third phase, once you shift from response to recovery, is mucking and gutting and roof tarping and debris removal, et cetera. So it'll come in phases. We're still in search and rescue right now.
Let's talk about that because the feeding part we do well. It's a running joke as who we're sending jambalaya to this week. But the recovery part, the rebuilding part is where I want to kind of dig in a little bit deeper. Once we get to that part, what kind of qualifications are needed other than a willingness and a strong back? I mean, do you have to have certifications in electrical or plumbing or something like that in order to offer up your services?
Usually the organizations that are doing that type of work, they'll have people on staff that are, you don't want to put me anywhere near electrical, right? Like that's a disaster waiting to happen.
Right.
But usually they'll do the type of training that you'll need to be able to do muck and gut, basic rebuilds. So those more technical pieces, like plumbing and electrical and even some of the final roofing pieces, they'll contract that out for. But the organizations that we've seen on the ground here are a lot of the ones that we'll see on the ground there. A lot of those are faith-based organizations with, strong networks with the local churches there, and other groups as well that go in and they've got their folks that they'll bring in, but they're always looking to supplement with local volunteers. And, kind of getting back to and we saw this in the past couple of hurricanes here in Louisiana, when your infrastructure is devastated, it's harder to support out-of-state visiting volunteers. So those organizations are going to be looking to local volunteers first, and as that infrastructure improves, and the cameras go away. Like we know this happens, right? Like this is top of the news. In a couple of weeks, there'll be something else. And when the cameras go away, the needs don't. And so that's when those volunteers are really needed. Less right now, quite frankly, and more in the months to come.
Yeah, we know very well that hurricane season leads up to election season, and seeing it as the latter a lot more. So that's not going to come as a surprise when the cameras mysteriously disappear a week and a half into October. We're all too familiar in our own backyard. We're talking with Judd Jeansonne, the executive director of Volunteer Louisiana. Yeah, look, I wouldn't have the qualifications for any of that specific stuff, but I can hang sheetrock all day long, and I could definitely handle a shovel. So I think that's where most of us fall.
Absolutely. That's what I call the mule work. Let me be a mule. I'll move things and sweat.
Partnership, like you mentioned, faith-based organizations, and not just. I don't want to walk this down a church and state thing, but organizing everyday people for special time volunteers, and it just how can we streamline that across state lines?
A great relationship with our sister agency there, but one of the advantages that a lot of these organizations have, whether they're faith-based or not, is they've got their networks, and in particular, those faith-based organizations have their networks across the states, and so that helps. Thinking of groups like Samaritan's Purse, for example, they have their church infrastructure already in place, their network. So like right now, they're going to have. They're on the phone. They're figuring out, where they can set up shop, and they can have that sort of flexibility to get in quickly. Usually we'll see the search and rescue groups come first, and then those faith-based organizations that do this type of work on the regular will be next because they have that built-in networking capacity.
Just another couple minutes with Judd Jeansonne, the executive director of Volunteer Louisiana. Judd, I got to bring it back home for just a minute, though. We learned, I believe it was yesterday, that about $100,000 worth of an investment is headed y'all's way to help bolster up. Is it called activation kits here, volunteer
Yes.
activation kits. What does that do for us, and how does it? Where will we see the real life application?
Sure. So, a little bit about us. We're in the Office of Lieutenant Governor as the State Service Commission. So, our main task is we oversee the AmeriCorps programs in the state. We've got 17 programs that engage in about 1,000 AmeriCorps members in service each year. But beyond that, we help promote volunteerism, help to coordinate volunteers and unsolicited donations in times of disaster. So, these volunteer activation kits, one of the things that we do is we've tried to build we use the blue sky, gray sky analogy. In blue sky days, we want to build capacity and we want to build resilience. So in the gray sky days, we're ready. So one of the things that Volunteer Louisiana has been doing for the past couple of years is some pretty intensive training around CERT, which is Community Emergency Response Teams. Those are coordinated at the parish level with parish offices of emergency preparedness. We provide those trainings, resources for that. And these volunteer activations kits are the next stage. So you've got a CERT team, you've got some people that you've trained up. So we wanted to get resources in their hands because a lot of these CERT teams, they are volunteer, and at the local level, particularly in our rural parishes, they simply don't have the resources. So we got a federal grant to do this, and so we're sending out about $100,000 worth of volunteer activation kits to 14 CERT and volunteer organizations throughout the state to build up that capacity and have their volunteers ready to go in gray sky days.
He is Judd Jeansonne he's the executive director of Volunteer Louisiana. Yeah, so that's the sort of thing that as we watch, the most recent one was 5 Days at Memorial, but as we watch recountings of previous disasters and you see everyday people sitting on the sidelines looking to get in the game, this is the sort of coordination ahead of time that prevents that sort of that languishing on the sidelines in the time of emergency.
Absolutely. That's what we always tell people is that you want to get affiliated before a disaster because affiliation is what helps you get out into the field. You never want to see people self-deploy on their own. That's the worst thing that can possibly happen. And you also don't want to see people give unsolicited donations that just sit in warehouses. You want to be targeted. You want to be intentional with what you do. So CERT teams are a great way to do that, to connect with your parish offices of emergency preparedness to help build capacity and bandwidth and response times. And we see with the last two hurricanes, not only in affected areas, but CERT teams have been deployed from one parish to another to help with emergency operations centers, with external communications, getting out into the field and sharing resources with people. So it's we're trying to really build that network in Louisiana.
Thank you for a couple minutes.
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Here's CBS News.
I saw one of this guy like hitting a bong outside in the wind.
That will go down as one of the greatest songs in history. Let's see. Send us a message. Messenger.
Oh, my leg. What? I got down to 10:08 mile time yesterday. I know. I was so happy. It was like the first time I've ever smiled after cardio before.
Anyone else having trouble hearing Brian and guests? Debbie says it seems distorted in spots. I'm sorry, y'all. We've had the engineer in here working on it. We'll continue to work on it. Oh, we can't hear anything now. How about now?
Brian's mic was off. I'm sorry. I don't know why I had your mic off.
I don't know
Yeah.
why.
And I don't know why it sounds distorted. Because remember we had that problem, and then I fixed it, and then everything went awry.
But
And then
everything's reset now,
yeah.
so it's back
So
to distorted.
yeah, I don't know how I fixed it. I mean, I do, and I thought I fixed it again, but now it's like I don't know. Calm down, Alondra.
I appreciate that Jeff included this story in the news. The running back who broke the state record.
Do
It-
what?
It's a running back from Union Parish.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Trey Holly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard
Yeah.
about that.
Broke Nick Brissett's record.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure somebody heard it and was like, oh, slow news day. But I think this is bigger than that.
Yes.
Especially when it comes back around to where he decides to go to college.
Yep. Oh, let me pull up Judd.
Hmm?
I said, oh, let me pull up Judd.
Yeah.
To the Mississippi River Bridge.
Let's get another Family Feud question in right after traffic.
I was gonna say something, and I can't remember now.
All right, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready for the feud.
Okay. Name something one family member might steal from another. Top 5 answers are on the board. Name something one family member might steal from another.
The car. Boom.
That's not on the board.
What?
Car's not on the board. Did you see that story of that kid, this 11-year-old kid in
Their
Jackson?
virginity.
That's so bad. I don't know what family you grew up in, Brian.
Livingston Parish Family Feud.
That's not white people shit. Did you see that story in Jackson? Wait, let me
Take it to the LP.
Okay.
The story about what? What story?
This kid in Jackson, Mississippi, he's an 11-year-old middle schooler. He stole his teacher's car keys, stole the car, and they found the kid. And then, like, his Instagram, he's, like, posing in the car with, like, guns. An 11-year-old kid. And then there's a video of him smoking a blunt. And the dad reposted the picture of him in the car with the guns. All proud.
It's good, Dad.
Yeah.
It's good, Dad. I like it.
That's what's wrong with our
I'm
society.
here for it. I'm here for it.
See James in your car. Weather.
How's the weekend stacking up for your forecast? Here is WBRZ meteorologist Jeansonne Wheat. Fabu. So I've got a story about All right, I got to admit it. Guilty pleasure time. Every year when Halloween rolls around, Christy and I tune into the Food Network, and we cannot turn away because what they bring to you every single year is nothing short of extraordinary. This year's no different. The Halloween Cookie Challenge is coming around, and we are joined right now by Chef Jet Tila. Jet, good morning. How are you, man?
Hey, brother. Good morning. Thanks for having me on the show. True pleasure, man.
No, glad to have you on here. Well, you know what? I want to get into the Halloween Cookie Challenge in a minute, but I got to start with you. If I've got access to you here, your story is fantastic. Tell us how you got into what brought you into the world of food, and what brought you in the way that you've transformed yourself.
You got it, man. I'll give you the short answer so no one glazes over. My family emigrated to America in 1966. We started the first Thai restaurants, the first Thai markets. Basically, we started Thai food in America in the 60s. I take no credit. It was all my mom and dad. But watching a cuisine from another country take hold and become a thing kind of gave me my foothold in the world. I went on to French and Japanese culinary school because I worked at all of our family's restaurants, formalized my education, worked in some of the biggest hotels and restaurants in the world, backweighed myself into getting on Iron Chef, over a decade ago, battled my kind of idol Morimoto, almost beat him. The Food Network said, "You want to do more shows?" I was like, "Heck yeah, man." And then, that started Cutthroat Kitchen, Chopped, Beat Bobby Flay. That was my back way in to all this. So, 20 years of Asian food experience, and then backed up with all this fun stuff after. Right place, right time. Kid from the hood, made good. How's that?
It's exemplary of the storyteller you are, which is why I'm so looking forward to the Halloween Cookie Challenge coming up. So you're on in Baton Rouge, Louisiana right now, and our afternoon drive host he has beaten Bobby Flay, Jay Ducote.
Oh,
yeah, Jay Ducote, another Food Network alum, right here in Baton Rouge. Let's talk about the Halloween Cookie Challenge, because this is not what you're known for. If I can be fair, yep. Bringing the baking world and the Halloween world together, not really your milieu, but you're a great storyteller and a great entertainer. Yeah. So I would imagine this pairing between you and Rosanna Pansino is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think I got to start by saying Rosanna Pansino is basically the Guy Fieri of YouTube cooking. Right? I mean, she's mega. She's got like over 20 million followers combined on all her platforms. And I didn't know that, I got to be honest. And I think my function is to be the elder statesman that's competed and that is judged on Food Network, and to bring kind of that side of it, right? Like it hurts to go home. I went home on Iron Chef, on Chopped, on a lot of shows. And when someone that has to get cut, right, I think it's my job to tell them, hey, Brian, it's hard, but you're going home for these very specific reasons. So it's not always, armchair quarterbacking again and just torturing your mind. This show, though, man, it's basically the special forces of Halloween bakers, cookie bakers. First, there's basically two rounds, right? Number one, first round is going to be a one-dimensional cookie in a theme. Last week, it was make something cute into something scary, make something scary into something cute. But just all the modes that it takes. I mean, you got to make the cookie perfectly. You got to frost it or ice it or fondant it. You got to give it a really good flavoring. And then the second round is really the spectacular round. We're making people do 3D Halloween builds. So last week it was like coffee table book size spell books, and they're scary and they have bleeding hearts. Some of them have skulls on them. And then later on in the season, we make people make banners, like full hanging banners, party masks that are human size. Dude, I went in with an appreciation, but I didn't really understand the level of cookie making that there was out there. And this is what people are going to come away with. They're just going to be blown away.
What weighs more in the judging here? Is it the extravagance and the aesthetic, or is it the flavor?
I got to say it's both, man, because you can make a cookie that is flawless and gorgeous, but once you bite into it, it's like, man, I don't really want, it wasn't worth the calories, I think most of us say. But then again, if you're up against someone else and you both have made a gorgeous cookie, it's going to be the flavor that gets you $10,000. So I think the answer to that question is a cookie baker has to understand flavors as well as artistry. And I think that's what's been really fun about this show is we're all going to meet over 6 weeks, 24 of America's best. And then, you know, because of the internet, man, you could actually find them, follow them, and hit up their bake shop. So there's a very fun kind of triple D aspect to this Halloween baking show. And again, and here's another hack for all your listeners. Food Network at 10 p.m. Monday nights. But I'm a Discovery Plus guy. I can watch the show anytime from the morning of the day. So from like 9 a.m. on, I could actually watch the show before everyone else gets to watch it. So that's the hack. I'm probably going to get in trouble for telling everyone that, but that's the way I play it.
Anytime we can push to Discovery Plus, we do that around here. So hack very much appreciated. We've got Chef Jeff Tila for another minute and a half or so before we got to let you go. I got to ask about the foodie culture overall, Jed, and that is when we see shows like this on the Food Network and, you know, Halloween kicking off all the holiday seasons that the Food Network ups its game. When we see shows like this where you have that level of extravagance, how much does that bleed over into the real world as well for everyday foodies like myself?
Yeah, look, I feel like, you know, rising tide raises all boats. So when you see this level of cookie making, it's entertaining. So we're not just, you know, teaching you how to cook something. We're also entertaining you. And I think 90% of people who watch Food Network aren't actually cooking the dishes, but they're actually being entertained for that hour. It's a very safe place to put your kids on television and get them involved in cooking. And I see kids of all generations. My daughter's 9, and she's getting into cooking because of people like Rosanna Penzino and Halloween Cookie Challenge. So I think we exist to motivate. We're aspirational. And then that does translate into cooking eventually. And if you're just like buying pre-made cookies, buying pre-made frostings and icings, and making Halloween cookie parties because of our show, we've won. And maybe you'll graduate to wanting to take some classes and go bigger. Everybody wins when you're entertained by cooking.
The Halloween Cookie Challenge coming your way to the Food Network on Monday nights. Jed, I got to ask you about the future for you, though, man. You got a lot of stuff in store.
Yeah, brother. Look, if you want to come eat in my restaurants, do check out Payway and Dragon Tiger Noodle Co. This fall, we're also doing really fun episodes of Beat Bobby Flay. You'll see me again on Tournament of Champions. You know what? Like, Food Network's my home, and you're not going to see me judging, but also competing. And if you want to know what's happening, just have people follow me at Jet Tila. And brother, I appreciate you having me on the show and letting me plug this really great show. I'm super proud of it. I think people are going to love it.
It is the Halloween Cookie Challenge Monday nights on the Food Network. He is Chef Jet Tila. The pleasure's all on this end of the line, man. Thank you so much.
Be well, Brian. Thanks.
Appreciate him hopping on board. And yeah, I dive in. Christy and I dive in every single year. Whether that be the Halloween ones and the Christmas ones. If I'm being completely honest, I like the Halloween ones better. They go so over the top with all the different cooking or baking or whatever the case might be. The level of artistry that goes into it is impressive. It's beyond the point of food, right? It is art. I'd be hard pressed to actually eat any of it. Anyway, thanks to Jet Tila for hopping on board. Monday nights on the Food Network is where you will see the Halloween Cookie Challenge. You just sit there, you're like, I can't eat that. It's too pretty. Just can't. All right, we got a lot more show to go here, and we're not done talking about food. Oh, by the way, we got Rocco coming up next hour. 8:15 through the end of the show. Brace yourselves. Hold on. It's going down for real. Rocco in studio next hour. Got to take a minute to tell you about the folks over at St. James Place. If you are retired or approaching retirement, you might want to give St. James Place a look. They're on Lee by Highland. They've got a beautiful, beautiful campus. But the reason you might want to give them a look is because you might have heard the wrong things about them. You might have heard things like, it's a nursing home. Well, they've got nursing care. It's a part of it, but it's an all-inclusive life plan community. They've got independent living. You don't even have to be retired. Approaching retirement is the key word here. The other thing you might have heard that, it gets out there a lot, and it's such a misnomer. It needs to be just squashed as a rumor. You got to be a millionaire to get in. No, they have a number of options and plans that make this so much more affordable than you think. Look, as you're approaching retirement, you're moving towards that fixed income phase. Know where your money's going every single month. Know what you're getting, what you're paying for, and know that the outcome is going to be the same every single month by getting on board early. Check them out online, stjamesplace.org, stjamesplace.org, or give them a call at 215-4500. St. James Place. Live life well. All right. Still at hurricane status for Hurricane Ian, as it is out in the Atlantic right now. About to shift its direction a little bit and start to turn more northwesterly. It is moving north right now at 9 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour. These are the 7 o'clock numbers that we've got for you. It is still projected to make landfall for a second time in South Carolina, although every time the new numbers come out, it's a little bit further north in South Carolina. It will be almost to the North Carolina state line by 2 a.m. tomorrow. And then by 2 p.m., it'll be back down to a tropical storm by then. And then by 2 p.m. tomorrow, down to a tropical depression. We will continue to monitor it. We will continue to keep an eye on it. Even though it is not a threat to us here locally, the amount of damage that's already been laid in its wake is just it devastating. Devastating to see what's going on in Florida. So we'll keep an eye on Ian. As for the rest of the tropics, though, there was another disturbance out there yesterday, 11, I believe it was. It was expected to just kind of hover around the Atlantic and dissipate over the course of 2 days. Well, it's gone already. So that's the fish storm that wasn't. There is a tropical wave producing disorganized showers just off the coast of Africa right now. Obviously, too soon for us to look at right now. But when we reconvene on Monday after we take the weekend, I wouldn't be shocked if we're getting closer to that one being named. All right, right now we got a break. Your Money Now, check of traffic. We'll step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish next for the Outside In on Talk 107.3. All right. Something you would steal from a family member. By the way, while we were doing that interview, a colleague comes down the hallway, and we asked him the question, and as bad as I felt about my Livingston Parish answer, he said, if you're from Alabama, virginity. And I felt so reassured that I'm not the lone crazy person now.
I'm very sorry to disappoint, but that was not on the board.
Virginity is not something you steal from a family member.
No, very sorry.
Okay, how about Oxycontin?
No.
Oh,
painkillers is not on the board.
A fistful of Loratab. No? Then why do they have those take-back days? What about a gun?
No.
I mean, we are in Baton Rouge, right? A gun?
Yeah.
Can you...
These are, like, not open to the demographics, you know? Like, it's not, like... It doesn't take into account region.
Porn.
No, also not on the board.
It's not on there?
No, I'll tell you what is.
Number 5.
Answer is money.
Number 1 would be money. Good job, Renee. Renee nailed it.
Number 2 is clothes. So Debbie had the number 2 answer.
Okay.
Number 3 is food. So Jason said pizza. So yeah.
Your leftovers. Put your name on. Wait, no. Stop right there. Leftovers are a different story, and here's why. If it's in there for more than 48 hours, it's free game.
Yeah, you're not going to eat that.
In a work fridge, you're not allowed to touch it no matter what.
Yeah.
Home, more than 48 hours and it's done. And that doesn't just apply to leftovers.
No, I agree.
Easter candy, Halloween candy, Christmas candy, anything more than a week, it belongs to mom and dad now.
Are you taking the kids Halloween trick-or-treating?
Yeah.
Okay, if y'all are taking y'all's kids, grandkids, whatever, I don't know how old the people that watch on YouTube are, but if y'all are taking kids Halloween trick-or-treating, like, y'all should be careful with the fentanyl and stuff like that. You should be careful that there's no fentanyl in your kids' candy.
You're keeping a straight face.
Yeah, because I'm being serious.
Oh, also razor blades.
Yeah.
And hypodermic needles and other urban legends that have never appeared in real life.
Fentanyl is real.
Yeah, no. Somebody found a $20 bill on the ground, and it was dusted with fentanyl, and they died.
Yeah. Whatever, I'm just saying, be careful. There's crazy people out there.
It's okay.
Number 4 answer was jewelry.
Jewelry, okay.
And the number 5 answer was lover.
Hello. Shocked car didn't make that list. By the way, clothes and jewelry would be borrowed, right?
I've had my sister steal some clothes from me. She borrowed them and then never gave them back.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well,
it happens.
Have you ever stolen clothes from your sister, though? Just to take something back?
There's a
spare play?
shirt that the last time I went to Texas, I borrowed it from her, and I accidentally packed it in my suitcase.
Are you bringing it back next week?
No.
Okay.
I'm not.
Are you applying the rule?
It looks better on me
I
than
was
it does
about
on
to ask,
her.
are you applying the rule if it looks better on me, it's mine?
Yeah, and also, like, it was like a crop top. She's 17 and I'm 24, so who needs the crop top more? Not a little 17-year-old.
Fair.
I'm doing her a favor.
Yeah. I see. We can't apply the rule if it looks better on me, it's mine in my house.
Yeah.
Because I would literally have nothing left but my boxer briefs. That's about it.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if it looks better on me, it's mine.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Top
my wife
5.
would have all of my button-down dress shirts.
Top 5 letters. What?
Top 5
Letters.
letters?
Yeah.
RSTLN.
Top 5 answers are on the board. Name something that one of the 5 little piggies did.
Sent a Muslim to hell. No? Is that on the board? Wouldn't you just love to see Steve Harvey go, show me, sent a Muslim to hell? Playa? No, if only the on-air audience could get a piece of that, huh? I'm sorry, what? What do you mean I've already been canceled? I think I may have silenced Byron on that answer. I think Byron might have clocked out because of that one.
I think he clocked out in the virginity one.
He said passwords to things you'd steal.
That's not a good answer, Byron.
According to Haggai, it's a great answer.
That's not a good Byron answer.
That's a Tech Gumbo answer. Okay, then it's passwords to Pornhub. I don't know. Is that a password thing? I don't even know. 7:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Hour 2 of Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. We got CBS News coming your way in just a little bit. After CBS News, we'll turn back the clock for This Day in History, and then it is on. It is Muffalata time. Rocco will be in the house. Well, Muffalata. We might have Roofalata, which we're going to have to walk down that path with him.
I don't really want a roofalata.
That's when
I'm like in the room with 2 men.
We're gonna walk that path with Rocco in a minute. By the way, if you're not familiar, get familiar. Having Rocco on board, I'm promising you right now, in spite of my best efforts, it will leave the rails. It will leave the rails quickly, and that's why we do it so often. So. Right now, though, we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish. It is time for the Outside In. We have more stories than time in today's Outside In. We got to start off at Tangipahoa Parish. A Ponchatoula police officer was arrested on 1 count of sexual battery, according to authorities. Actually, stemming from, got the story from the Advocate. 24-year-old Frank Tila was booked on sexual battery Saturday night in Springfield, per the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. Ponchatoula Police Chief Brian Larison confirmed that Talia is one of his officers and said he is still in the process of gathering information from authorities, from Livingston Parish authorities. The Ponchatoula Police Department placed Talia on administrative leave Wednesday, according to a press release. This investigation is ongoing. Heading over to St. Landry Parish, state police say there are 4 non-critical injuries as a result of a school bus crash that happened in rural St. Landry Parish yesterday afternoon. Troopers said a school bus crashed with a tow truck. That crash happened near the intersection of 190 and Rosina Road. 19 students on the bus, 4 ended up injured, like we said, non-critical. According to the St. Landry School Superintendent Patrick Jenkins, the students on the bus were from Lawtell Elementary. Next stop, New Orleans, where the hits just keep on coming for Mayor LaToya Can't. The Metropolitan Crime Commission sent the New Orleans City Council a report Thursday requesting an investigation into Mayor LaToya Cantrell's alleged use of a city-owned apartment in the quarter. The MCC report includes photographs of Cantrell going in and out of the apartment over several months, as well as allegations from witnesses indicating she has been staying overnight regularly at the apartment, put up privacy screens on the balcony, and has been receiving packages there. That's the phrase, right? Home is where you get your Amazon. Apartment 530B in the Upper Pantalba is owned by the city and managed by FMC, a city-affiliated agency. It has a market rate of $2,991 a month, but no rent was paid on the apartment from September 1 through September 1 of last year through July 31st of this year. Metropolitan Crime Commission President Raphael Goyeneche says living rent-free in a city property is an improper benefit. Cantrell's communications director, Gregory Joseph, acknowledged the mayor stays at the apartment rent-free, but defended the practice and said it's allowed under the city's agreement with the French Market Corp. Closing out in Lafourche Parish. Police in Lafourche announced on Thursday they had arrested and charged a man for raping 2 minors. On Wednesday, 59-year-old James Griffin Jr. from Raceland was taken to the Lafourche Parish Correctional Complex on 2 counts of first-degree rape. Quote, through investigation, detectives learned Griffin had inappropriate sexual contact with minor children. When detectives brought Griffin in from questioning, he admitted to it. His bail set at $1 million. That's the outside end. Let's get you to CBS News. Boom, shakalaka. What up? What thing? Hey, do you have a headset I could borrow for Rocco? Cool, thank you. What did the 3 little piggies do? Let's see. Jason says, wee all the way home. Having trouble thinking about deliverance with this answer. Wee! Rocco's in the green room warming up with some breakdancing. Oh, 8:15. I want Lookout Weekend by Debbie Deb. Okay. Galen says, just now it out. That mother, let me tell you something. Bro, he shouldn't have been out there in the first place. He shouldn't have been sent out there in the first place. He had no, but he was already like wrong from last week. Oh, do I need to come get it? Let me come. Yeah. Who? Who? Oh, Nick Kroll's coming up. He's gonna be on Good Morning America. I might stop doing the show to watch. You love Nick Kroll?
Yeah.
Watch The League.
I started it last night.
He's Ruxin.
Yeah, I started it last night.
Rodney.
The first episode.
How'd you like it?
It was pretty funny.
All right, what was the question again?
Name something that one of the 5 little piggies did. Jason said, wee, all the way home. That was that was the number 2 answer, Jason.
Went to market.
That was number 1.
Went home.
Stayed home. Yeah, number 3.
This is the perfect question for Rocco.
Yeah.
Because one had roast beef.
Yeah. And the other had none.
Yeah. So he didn't do anything.
Oh.
What did the piggy do? Nothing.
He didn't do shit.
Stayed home, didn't
He
have
was
roast
being a
beef.
freeloader.
You ever think about how, like, disturbing that is? This little piggy had roast beef. It's
Yeah.
a pig eating a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least he didn't have bacon. I wonder what would happen if you fed a pig bacon. But like, what if you like no? But I'm saying like you raised a pig just on pig.
Yeah.
Would it be like super good?
Like double bacon?
Yeah.
Can you double bacon a pig? I don't know. I don't know. Yes, let's do one more.
Okay. Let's do one more. I don't know why.
While you're throwing that question out. Oh, we gotta get the traffic. I'm gonna go get the table.
Okay. Oh my God. Jesus. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Name someone who might know more about a man than his own wife. Listen. Nobody know more about my man than I do. If I ever
I've actually got.
if I ever
I bet you this answer's on there. His bartender.
It's not.
Oh.
That's a good answer, though.
Where has the world gone? I don't want to live in. Oh. Time for a look at your weekend forecast. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Jason Wheat. Made her a man. Go get him, Jason.
I just want to say I beat the state meteorologist in guessing hurricanes.
Yes, you did. And thank you for limiting that comment to that because we
Yes.
sound very
No,
insensitive.
I'm saying I guessed
Anything
it.
beyond that would be very.
I guessed. We all guessed. Name someone who might know more about a man than his own wife.
His mother.
Troy says his CPA.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
That is a good answer. What if your husband is a CPA?
.806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hour 3 of Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Alondra producing. Busy hour this hour. Just got a text from Rocco. He's running a couple minutes behind. Nope.
Rocco asked for more time.
Yep.
So we gave it to him.
Yep.
And he's late.
Yep. It's all good. It's all good. We got it going. You know what?
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing, though. We're going to run long in this segment. We always run long in this segment. The 8:15 interview never starts until 8:19 because we just mess around and run long, and we don't keep an eye on the clock. And also,
I'll be better about that.
I always try to. No, it's not on you. It's mostly on me. I'm trying to, squeeze in an extra live read before we get onto the segment. And oh, by the way, don't forget. Hey, it's an away game this weekend, but Mathurns is still here for you if you're doing a little entertaining for the Auburn game. If you're ready for the craziness that is the Auburn game every single year, you can stock up at Mathurns before the game. Best, if not the best, one of the best craft beer selections in Baton Rouge. But to go along with that, ask Tony for a recommendation. He's never steered me wrong in the past. He won't steer you wrong either. Mathurns is not just your game day headquarters. They are a full-service grocery store every single day of the week. You'll find them in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. And you might be thinking to yourself, Brian, they're downtown on 3rd Street. Yes, the 3rd Street location is a downtown staple. Absolutely. But if your commute takes you up Nicholson, Swing on by. They're right across the street from Tiger Stadium in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, corner of Nicholson and Skip Burtman Drive. By the way, if you download the app, get your grocery shopping done before you leave work, you will save an hour out of your weekend right there. You're clocking out today, you're about to drive home, boom, hit up the app, buy your groceries, pull in the parking lot, they bring it out to you, and your weekend is started an hour earlier, give or take. Mathern's in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. All right. It is time for us to roll back the clock. It is time for this day in history. Let's get it.
All right.
Oh, gonna auto-tune the birthdays today?
It's Friday. Yeah.
Ah,
Nice.
thank you.
Okay.
I mean,
We good. Let's go.
it sounds so manufactured.
I can't help the way that I speak.
It just... You're
I
trying to
can't help
sound hype.
it. I'm hyped.
All right. Roll with it then.
Rolling.
Run with that hype.
Yeah. In 1822. Okay, it's Hispanic Heritage Month, so I'm gonna give a little shout out to my guy Joseph Marion Hernandez, who on this day in 1822 became the first Hispanic to be elected to the United States Congress.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yep. All right. In 1862, Minister President of Prussia Otto von Bismarck delivers his famous Blood and Iron speech.
Otto von Bismarck might be one of the top 5 coolest names in history.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Like back in the day in 1862, I would have been scared of somebody named Otto von Bismarck.
Today, I would be scared.
It's fair. If somebody came out of Germany again, well, I guess it was Prussia at the time.
It also kind of sounds like one of those Key and Peele football names.
Yeah. Okay, on this day in 1868, the first volume of Louisa May Alcott's Little Women is published.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the first bestseller. Is her first bestseller. In 1888, Jack the Ripper murders 2 more women. In 1934, Babe Ruth's final game as a Yankee. He went 0 for 3 in his final game as a Yankee.
That's okay because on this day in 1927, he hit his 60th home run of the season.
He did.
Which was at the time a record that was broken by Roger Maris later on and then tied by Aaron Judge 2 days ago.
Judge.
I'm sorry. I'm not on it. I'm not like, I just can't get hyped about a guy coming in 5th overall. 5th or 6th. I don't know.
1947. The first televised World Series baseball game. It was game 1. The Yankees beat the Brooklyn Dodgers 5-3.
Take that, Brooklyn.
It was actually the largest World Series crowd to date with 73,365 people in attendance.
Seriously? That's like 3 two-lane football games.
Yeah. In 1962, in Oxford, Mississippi, an African-American student is escorted onto the University of Mississippi campus by U.S. Marshals, setting off a deadly riot. Wait, yeah, Ole Miss, like 1962, y'all were over here. That wasn't that long ago. They're not that far removed from that. So in 1962, on this day, shout out to another Hispanic, labor leader Cesar Chavez founds the United Farm Workers. What?
Nothing. We're shouting out communists now. Okay.
Shout out to my Mexican brother. In 1991, Jerry Springer's tabloid talk show, The Jerry Springer Show, debuts on TV.
That show debuted in 91?
91, yeah. And it's still on air.
Hang on. I need help on YouTube because I've forgotten.
We've been helping find fathers since 1991.
No, back then, though, there was like, they'd have the KKK on and it was,
whoa.
Yeah, this paternity trend on daytime television, it's relatively recent, but it's also got to go away.
Yeah.
Like, I refuse to take a sick day because of what's on TV.
I used to love daytime TV.
But before there was Jerry Springer, there was Geraldo. Before there was Geraldo, who was the guy smoked and shouted? That's all I have to go on.
Smoked and shouted.
Smoked and shouted.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. I want to say David Duke was on his show at one point.
Whoa.
Yeah. Help me out with his name. YouTube. Post it up on YouTube. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane on YouTube. Let me know over there.
YouTube, Brian needs help. And also he needs to know this guy's name.
Stealing my Facebook posts much?
Born on this day in 1924, Truman Capote. He was born in New Orleans, for those who don't know.
I did not know he was born in New Orleans.
He was born in New Orleans.
Shame on me.
Shame.
The author of In Cold Blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah.
1922, Elie Wiesel. He's a Holocaust survivor. Also wrote the book Night. Yeah, great book. In 1957, Fran Drescher, The Nanny.
Oh, God.
Love that show. In 1975, Marion Cotillard. She was in the movie Inception.
Also, Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, Dark Knight Rises as well. But I love the movie Inception. In 1982, Kieran Culkin, Macaulay's brother, and also on the show Succession.
Oh, another reason I still haven't seen it.
Show.
Yeah.
You'll like it. Like, I think you'd like it. In 1984, I can't auto-tune. T-Pain.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure I could, but I just didn't think about it. T-Pain was born on this day in 1984. Died on
Wait. I gotta have one more birthday in there.
Okay.
It is Jenna Elfman's birthday. Jenna Elfman, 51 years old today. She was Greg and Dharma and Greg. What was it called?
I don't know.
It was also in a very underrated movie with Ben Stiller and Ed Norton called Keeping the Faith.
I love Ed Norton.
Yeah, you should see Keeping the Faith. It's pretty good.
In 1948, this day, Edith Roosevelt. In 1955, James Dean killed in a car accident.
Oh, also Barry Williams' birthday today.
What's that?
Greg Brady from the original Brady Bunch.
In 1997, the largest male alligator at 14 feet in Florida died on this day.
Shark alligator rule made it to the deaths.
Yeah.
Okay.
2003, Robert Kardashian, the attorney, the father of the Kardashians, who defended O.J. Simpson, died on this day. And it is National Love People Day.
Did you just make that up on the spot?
No, it's on here.
It's the way you paused made it sound like you made it up on the spot.
I was trying to find a good one because there's a lot on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to find it like extra virgin olive oil day. I wasn't gonna say that.
Why not?
International Podcast Day. Check out Drop Biscuit Studios for International Podcast Day.
Download the latest cool story, bro, at Drop Biscuit Studios. Interestingly enough, people are still downloading my 2-part deep dive into I Just Killed My Dad.
Nice.
Yeah. It's which, by the way, if you haven't seen it on Netflix, it was the Anthony Tomplay story. Well, I talked to a lot of people that were involved in the documentary. I have it on my podcast, Cool Story Bro, which is available at dropbiscuitstudios.com, along with so much other great content that we create right here.
It's also International Blasphemy Rights Day.
That's
weird. That's blasphemous.
That is. All right.
That's this day in history.
Oh, I got my answer. I got my answer via text. I'm not even on the YouTube right now. But shout out to Rodney. Let me know. Morton Downey Jr. That's the correct answer.
Mm-hmm.
Shouted and smoked.
Mm-hmm.
Shouted and smoked. Morton Downey Jr.
Oh yeah, there's some people on YouTube who had the answer for you.
Was it Morton? Okay.
Yeah.
Morton Downey Jr. Deborah said Donahue, not Donahue. I remember Donahue with the white hair and the poignant question. The pseudo intellectual poignant question. Yeah, I remember him very well. But it was Morton Downey Jr. was the right answer there.
Nice.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. We're going to break. When we come back from said break, maybe Rocco, he might be a couple minutes late. If so, we've got more ground to cover here. We're not done yet on Mornings with Brian Haldane. We'll continue next.
Okay, let's see.
Name someone who might know more about a man than his own wife. Y'all had some pretty good answers. I think Rocco's here, guys.
Oh,
Hi, Rocco.
Alejandra. What are you doing?
Well, you know, just trying to work.
All right, I'll call you your real name for just 1 second.
It's okay.
Alejandra.
Yes, that's my real name.
Alejandra. Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está?
Bien, ¿y usted?
Ayer en la noche me salimos con mis amigos de muchos amigos. Estuve barato.
¿Estás crudo?
Estuve barato, sí. Ahora mismo tengo dolor de cabeza. Oye, oye, qué suerte. Don't mess with me, Haldane.
What do you mean?
He's hungover.
I'm on one Ambien.
Did you have a Rufalata?
After driving over here, I realized.
Hey, what's the song you want?
I realized. Rufalata, Roofy. Yeah, we're gonna go. Oh, we're gonna take that to the next level. Look, I brought you this for your family. I gave a couple to what's her name, Mama Jag.
Okay.
These are meat pies that Thomas Ross makes. So we're gonna talk a little bit about him and being from Cane River and how that's where the Creoles are. But I'm blacker than he is because back in the 16th century, the Moors conquered Italy. So I got more brother in me than Thomas Ross does. I'm still even trying to dance. The dude, he's got no rhythm.
You can't
bro.
dance, so I mean, what are you gonna
He's
do?
got that's right. He's a freaking cowboy.
What's the song, Brian?
He is.
What's the song you
Look
want?
Out Weekend by Debbie Deb.
Oh, look. I got some. Look. Look.
No, I got you a headset so you can move around.
All right, so check this out, right? Last time when we were talking about Depeche Mode,
Yeah.
I've got some good Depeche Mode songs that we never even touched in. I'm not going down on my knees begging you to adore me. Can't you see it's torture and misery for me?
I love that attempt at British accent.
What? It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Trying hard not to find. You know what song I'm talking about? Here is a plea, a vow to you. Nobody knows me as well as you do.
I don't know
You
this
know
one.
how hard it is for me to shake the
We'll find it.
Hey, look,
we'll
on
find it.
Ministry on the Acts, you know how we talk about Acts? He told me I can sing. The last two music directors wouldn't let me sing. Oh, dude. I'm not putting a headset on. It's going to mess up my hair, man.
I got you a headset so you can move around.
So,
I don't try to contain Rocco.
Look, I'm going to tell you. You got my hair gel, Alejandra, ready? And my brush? Once I take the headphones off, I got to restyle the hair.
I'm not a stylist. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying. I mean, this is the logo and everything, the hair.
Branding.
You got to have
Proper
the good
branding.
hair. You got to have the good hair.
Yeah, you do.
Mr. Director, sire, at your service.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Making me wear a headset, mess up my beautiful dome.
Not making you wear a headset. Giving you the freedom to move around, and we get full Rocco.
Let me just say this, man.
Yeah.
It's Friday, right? It's the fall.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Both of these answers are correct.
I got a little saying for you. It's Catholic High game week, right?
Are they? Where are they playing tonight?
I think they play at Southern.
Yeah, I think so, because it's listed as a home game on the schedule. But I asked Carrie if she was going. She said, no, they're not at home this weekend. And I'm like, I think they might be. Okay.
They play at Southern. They play at Southern. There's a team.
But it's not at Memorial.
No, it's at Southern.
Right.
They playing at Southern. And I woke up this morning. It was a little nippy, a little chilly, Nips were hard, everything, dude. Walked outside with the dog. She looked at me like, what the hell, dude? She didn't even want to go take a leak. I was like, look.
It was barely 59 degrees.
My dog was cold, man. She's a French bulldog, Lulu. She's temperamental, all right?
Okay.
So anyway, I'm like, yeah, it's Catholic High week. Playing a game tonight.
Yeah.
I got an orange shirt I usually wear on Fridays.
Uh-huh.
But because we were going to be on the YouTube thing,
yeah,
I didn't want to come in here looking like the Great Pumpkin. So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wear plaid because plaid makes you look thin.
You're looking svelte this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate
Absolutely.
that. You know, I put on a little weight the last couple of weeks. I lost about 16 ounces last month.
That's almost a pound.
Well, I mean, incremental. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I do.
You know how it is.
Yeah, I know how it is.
So anyway,
I behave all week, and then I come in on the week on Friday, and then undo it with a little muffalata over here.
So I decided to go with this.
All right.
You know, to make me look lean.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty thin these days.
Right.
I don't know if you've noticed that. Anyway, you make me put the headphones on. Now, totally mashes my entire game plan for Halloween. I was dressing up like Eddie Munster.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, do you see the hair? The receding hair?
You've got a month to correct.
Okay. Well,
we're good.
I'm just letting you know it takes a long time to get this going.
Here's the thing, Rock. Here's the thing.
Is
No,
this
that's not
on?
on.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
You've got the other one there.
All right. Glad to be here.
Here's the thing. If I don't give you a headset, you complain that you can't turn around and prepare the food, and we lose you on the microphone because you're facing away from the microphone. I give you the headset, and now it's I got to mess up your hair.
Yeah.
I mean, how do I win here? What can I do to serve you?
Well,
how can I make this a more pleasurable experience for you?
The fact that you allowed me to come in here today and do my most favorite sandwich that there is.
Yep.
Is the muffalata.
It is.
I love it.
You've got backstory with muffalata too.
I do. You know, so
and I'm not talking donkey with a large sombrero backstory. That's a different story.
Do you really want me to tell you about the Tijuana story? Do you really want me to go there?
I kind of don't, but you said remind me about it. So
So you said earlier as I was riding over here that you didn't want this to go off the tracks or the train.
No, I guaranteed it would.
Yeah,
I will do my best to stop it.
It's about to go really fast.
When you step into the ring knowing you're going to take an L, you still do everything you can to not take that L, and then you take the L. Yeah.
Yeah, and so anyway, so the muffalata,
yes, let's start.
As you know, was created by my great-great-grandfather Giuseppe, Central Grocery.
I know Central Grocery
in New Orleans,
Decatur.
Okay, most people think that sandwich originated in Italy. Not the case. Okay,
no, that's.
And I think you and I talked. You know, I've been to Italy several times, and one of the big things they do over there for breakfast, they don't have American breakfast. You don't have eggs, bacon. They don't do pancakes. It's cold cuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what they serve for breakfast, and cheeses and fruits and stuff like that. And you'll have some bread options, but that's what they serve, right? So the history of the muffalata started in New Orleans, as you know, at Central Grocery.
Yes.
It is a cold sandwich.
Let's start there because this is one
It is a cold.
You and I are here, and I feel like too many people are not here.
Why is that though? Because you're from the New Orleans area.
Yeah.
So you know.
But even in the New Orleans area, you're gonna find people heating it up. And, I
not
get
really.
it.
I mean,
when you heat up the greater New Orleans area.
Okay,
All
I'll
right.
give you that.
All right.
If you're hardcore New Orleans City,
right?
Ninth Ward, you heard me. You know, staying where LaToya stayed.
I can't afford that.
Well, I mean, neither can she.
She gets it rent free.
She hadn't paid a dime.
How you like the fact that WWL posted up her actual address, 530B Pentalva.
I mean, it's just to touch on it for a second.
Yeah,
because we're both from there. It is a freaking banana republic down there now. I mean, it is, you know.
It is stupid.
I was listening to your show the other day. You had somebody on. They were talking about police and Mardi Gras.
Jeff Crouere every Tuesday.
It's like, I mean, we can't even have Mardi Gras. And it's not because, and your guy said it best, the police force isn't leaving because of the money.
Right.
Okay? So first of all, what motivates people the most? Money. Okay? Getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're paying higher than everybody in the metro area and people are leaving, why are they leaving?
Risk versus reward. That's the difference right there.
I mean,
you can have your salary at X, but if your risk is at Y, then I'll go to Jefferson Parish and do the exact same job for slightly less money and not have to worry about whether not have to worry to the same level as to whether or not I'm coming home at the end of the night, whether or not I'm under an IA investigation at the end of the day, whether or not the people I arrest are going to be the same people I arrested last week and the same people I'm arresting next week.
Well, that is huge, and that stems from leadership at the top, and everything trickles down, as you know. And if you don't have the correct person in the leadership role to drive the machine, it ain't ever going to operate correctly.
Right.
And so, you know, I can't even wrap my head around it. I looked at the last, you know how many votes she got in the last election? If you had to guess.
I might be wrong about this. Was it 26,000?
It was under 20.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was under 20. Okay. If that don't tell you everything you need to know right there about the mindset of the people in the city, then I don't know what else you can do. Now, here's the thing, okay? Because we are from there, right? We want what's best for the city.
Right.
At what point, this recall that they're doing now, at what point does everybody else in the area realize what's best for the city is she needs to be gone?
Yeah.
She needs to go, like today, like gone.
Right.
And so whatever recall that they're doing, they need to fast-pace that and do whatever they need to do and jam it and get her the hell out of there. Because there ain't nothing going to change as long as she's the mayor of that city.
So the crazy thing about the recall is it's going to take twice as many signatures, more than twice as many signatures to get her recalled than what she got voted in at. Because the recall petition is based off the percentage of the electorate, not those who showed up last time around. It's nuts. And can you imagine signing a petition in 2022 in New Orleans right now with the way things are? If someone approaches you, are you even responding to them, or are you like running for your life because someone has made contact with, like, it just in 2022 in New Orleans with the way things are right now, it's an uphill battle to get people to answer their door because you don't know what's on the other side.
I would never have thought in my lifetime that I would ever see what's happening down there now happening. And if you're from there and you love the city as much as we do and other people out there that are listening do, it's like, man, what happens next?
Yeah.
I mean, we are so down to the point to where I don't know if we can get back up.
Well,
and that's one thing we always try to do here in Louisiana, right? We're resilient. We come to each other's help every time we need it, whether it's a hurricane. It doesn't matter what it is. That's something to say about who we are. And when you lose that in the entire city, you're done.
Well, I think we can get back up again. Like Chumbawamba. We get knocked down, we get back up again.
You know, because I'm going to be mayor of Baton Rouge in 2024.
That's going to happen in real time. All right, so we got a break here. Coming up on 8:30. It's the constraints of the clock.
I mean, where's Gordy? I saw him going out. He was leaving.
CBS News coming your way right now on Talk 107.3 FM.
It's just unbelievable, the things I have to go through here.
Okay.
Unbelievable. But we will talk about.
We're still on YouTube, which.
A lot of football. Yeah, the weather has helped us finally, but I had football practice Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. But the last 2 weeks we played in Monday night, so they switched it to Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. So next week, Thursday is open if y'all are not out of studio. Next Thursday? Next Thursday. Because we play Sunday this week. On Jay and hang with Chuck and drink some free alcohol. Look, also baked
Next Thursday looks good.
Oh, baked cookies from the house of Rocco.
You know,
I'd be lying if I said Maine or Mamie.
Yeah.
Mamie.
Mamie?
No, Mamie.
Mamie?
Yeah, I want to give him a little shout out before we get off.
Rocco, I'm putting you in for next Thursday.
Ready?
Next Thursday.
You gonna be here? You coming?
No, I'm coaching basketball.
So anyway, the story about the donkey and the lost sombrero. I don't know if it's appropriate for normal air.
If it's appropriate for what?
Like, you know, maybe we might be able to talk about it on YouTube, but on celestial radio, I don't know if it's possible. You know, I talked to Chip Klein yesterday. He had to go to DC.
Hang on, they can't.
I talked to Chip Klein yesterday, and he had to go to DC. And
yeah, Chip said he was in DC all week.
I don't know if you know this, but so Tammy May is his mother-in-law, and I told you I worked at the Capitol, right? So you know they'll deal with that.
Yeah.
So her nickname for Chip, Kyle Roddy Jr., is Chippy Doodle.
Chippy Doodle. Okay, here we go again.
Chippy Doodle.
Well, first of all, thank you for waiting until the break this time before shouting nicknames on the air. Because that's an improvement from last time.
Kelly Scott texted me this morning.
I get a text from him almost every morning.
Yeah, you know, he sends us his daily, you know, whatever. And he's at Auburn right now.
Of course he is.
And said, dude, you know, you've never invited me to go anywhere. I mean, he's got this freaking fifth wheel that sleeps 12 people.
Yeah.
And it's just him and Julie.
Yeah.
And I said, it'd be nice once in a while. He goes, look, I tell you what, you can come. He said, just buy you a trail. I said, well,
have you been by?
If you want to buy a trail.
Have you been by his tailgate over here for home?
Yeah. And it is very good, and he does a great job, unless he has to cook.
Right.
And so last week he cooked jambalaya.
Okay.
Now,
I didn't go last week. I went before the Mississippi State game.
So I'm just saying, prison food probably really good. You know.
Wow. I mean, taking shots.
I love Kelly Walker. He's supposed to be listening. That's why I'm cracking.
So is this the treatment you get as a post director? Because I'm not looking forward to the first weekend in November.
No,
if it is.
But dude, I told you the story about him, and you know, and you guys in general that have all been trying to get me to go over the years. You know, Kelly and I've been at Mercy for 20 years, just as long as you've been there, right?
Yeah.
And Kelly was one of the first people to ever talk to me about going on acts, right? And at our retreat, when I was retreating, when you were there, you know, afterwards, I told Kelly, man, I'm going back. And he goes, man, if you go back as a team member, I'll go back too. Guess who's named director?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I've told you this 1,000 times. I'm gonna tell Chuck and Alejandro this. Nothing happens by happenstance. It's all part of God's plan. I'm not trying to be biblical or theological or anything, but I am telling you, I used to believe this stuff just happened. Not anymore. And you know, the person who's named the co-director, Brett Blanchard.
Yeah.
Guess who I canceled with when I was supposed to go in 19? Brett Blanchard.
Okay.
Words out of his mouth, brother. It's okay, Rock. Whatever you got going on, God's going to put you in where you're supposed to, but we're going to keep praying for you. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to go just to shut Haldane, Kelly Walker, all these guys. I'm just going to go just to shut them up.
Right.
And again, of course, little did I know what actually happened. But the fact that Kelly's named director and Brett's named co-director.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a coincidence. Yeah. Okay, whatever. That dog ain't hunting Alejandro in my yard. I'm just telling you, right? Don't make me get the Holy Spirit up in here and zap you with it, because I'll do it. I'll do it. Hey, look, Scott Rob, look, my Mercy people, man. Look, we congregate together. You know, I was thinking about going out there because today's going to be a short day for me. We were finishing up a roof that we started yesterday, and I got to be at the restaurant, but I don't think I'm going to stay there very long for lunch. So I may get over there today because, you know, I think I've seen you. We're members over there as well. And, you know, I told you.
I want to live in a world where Rocco and tennis are in the same sentence.
So I told Scott was looking for somebody to play with him on like a Tuesday scrambler or some stuff. And I said, look, Scott, I'll play. I said, but my backhand isn't any good. My forehand isn't any good. But I promise you, I can launch balls into bocage all day. I'm just telling you.
Just Aaron judging tennis balls all over the place. We got to take a look at your weekend forecast real quick. High of 81 today. Overnight low tonight down to 52. Tomorrow we're going to top out at 85 with an overnight low of 53. We're at 86 on Sunday, Monday, actually all the way through next week. No real chance at rain. Things are going to be looking great for another week here in Baton Rouge. Right now, we are looking at 65% humidity and 60 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge.
I would have never thought in a mind. What is this? You say, don't, don't make me. Don't make me.
It's all good.
Don't make me.
I mean, 838, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Rocco's in the house.
Oh,
if you're not watching on YouTube, I don't know what to tell you. I can't help you at this point. We're going to make a muffalade at some point.
I think I just threw my shoulder out.
You might have thrown your shoulder out.
Patching up in here.
No, you said.
I busted the running, man. I think my hip. I need a Chuck. Go get an orthopedic surgeon in here. I can't even. I'm out of breath. I'm winded.
First.
Here we go again. You can't.
The first cooking segment brought to you by a physical therapist.
Give me some oxygen, please. I can't.
I feel bad.
It's crazy. Old people dancing is like not okay.
You just lost 16 more ounces. How about that?
I'm getting amped up. It's game day, brother. The Tigers are playing the
Y'all
Tigers.
can't hear it, but there's like just joints cracking everywhere.
I'm glad.
I took my glucosamine and cricosamine this morning. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
It's a supplement, and
Glucosamine.
yeah, I took some CBD oil that you gave me a couple of months ago. You know, I'm not convinced that it doesn't have THC in it because there's something really off with me right now. But I'm just saying.
Right now?
Well, I mean, just in general, more so now than any other time. But the muffalata, right?
Yeah, which we were mid-story and got a little bit sidetracked.
Got sidetracked. So anyway, created nuance. It's a cold sandwich.
Yes.
It is not supposed to be heated. It was never intended to be heated. And that's the way it's supposed to be eaten.
Right.
Now, I get it. Look, you know, some people want to heat it up and all that, and some people do that. But people, please, for the love of Betsy, try it cold. And you will open up your taste buds to a total different spectrum.
Absolutely.
And I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
No,
right?
completely.
So,
The olive gets stronger. So you heat it up, and the salt in the ham gets a little bit too powerful.
It gets too salty.
Yeah.
And you know, and look, and I
the
told you
cheese.
this. Yeah. I told you this before too. I mean, look, salt's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to any cured meat or
As
chicken.
an accent, sure.
Okay, so you know, and we talked when we were doing the Beef Council show that anytime you cook a steak and you salt it, you pepper it, you olive oil it, whatever you do before you put it on, right? Make sure before you serve it, you hit it with a little salt. You ever see the guy on like the YouTubes? He's like some long-headed chef or something, and he'll do like he's got this giant knife, and he'll do like a tomahawk.
Yeah.
And he'll slice it
Salt
up.
Bay. That's Salt Bay.
And he'll freaking lay it on it. And what does he do before he serves it? He hits it with the little salt like that. That's what you got to do.
Let's do actual foodie stuff right here. The reason you do the salt before serving and not before cooking is because you don't want it to overtake it and suck all the moisture out.
And that's what salt will do.
Yes.
And so, you know, there's a reason why. And we talked about being called salt of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that discussion we had the last time I was here?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
You don't look like you do.
A little bit. It's been a minute, man.
Look, I love you, brother.
We're worried about where this is going.
I love you, brother. We've been friends a very long time.
Yeah, I've been friends a very long time.
We have very good friends with Gordy, and I know Flint reasonably well. If you want to keep working here, you got to get off the drugs. I'm just telling you. You just got to just throw it. Whatever it is you're doing, meth on Fridays in the morning, look, you got to stop. Can we get somebody in here with a cup? Urine sample, please. We're going to send it over to Our Lady, the Lake After Hours Clinic. Get your test done. But all kidding aside, it really is supposed to be a cold sandwich.
Yes.
So try it cold, and I promise you, you will really discover a different side of what the sandwich is supposed to be. Right?
Absolutely.
Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because we've been doing beef every time we can't, you know, Philly steak, roast beef, barbecue beef, this, that, the other. RC. Oh, I got a cup from Richard Condon. He just brought it in. He's over there at 98.1. Go ahead, sample. Turn your head, Alejandra, please. Richard's gonna be. He's gonna.
I don't have to go right now. I don't have to go right now.
Come here. Let me hug you. Let me burp you. Come here, little fella. Let me burp you. First of all, this cup is way too big for him.
I mean, I could bathe in that.
I'm just saying, I know. See, he is Irish, though. I'm just saying. He's from the Irish Channel. He's not actually Irish. Exactly.
I buy that.
He's Italian. I don't know if you know that. His mom's Italian.
There's a County Condon in Ireland.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So that's the connection I have with him.
I didn't realize that jumbo mug was for a urine sample.
Well,
I missed out on the bit.
The jumbo might have been a little extreme. I'm just saying. So anyway, I told you the story about the time I got my appendix out, and I told you that story already, huh? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not gonna go on that again because I got a lot of stuff out of that from different people, and they kind of smacked me around a little bit on it. So leave that out this time. Okay. But if you want to talk really about the donkey and a large sombrero hat, I don't believe it's good for celestial radio. I think really we need to talk
on YouTube. Okay. Well, we're going to break in 6 minutes.
Too, that I might.
Okay. We're going to break in 6 minutes for your money now and another check of traffic where we will be exclusively on YouTube and not on, as you call it, celestial radio.
May or may not sleep with the covers on or off. I don't know if I told you that.
That's such a vague teaser.
And
so many dirty thoughts.
I'm just letting you know. Did I ever tell you about the time?
I'm going to tell you this, though.
Okay.
Like, I can't unsee the things you say. Like, I can't unsee the things you say. Like, there's no way to put the you-know-what back in the horse.
So when I got married in 2000,
yeah,
I stayed at the W on Porter's.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful hotel.
Wonderful hotel.
Me and my bride, we got married, St. Joe's, So, we got married.
Mm-hmm.
So that night, we consummate the relationship, right?
And it's the other story you were saving to bring.
So anyway, I'm not going to go into great detail.
Morning, Jill.
I'm not going to go into great detail because I know Jilly's listening.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to say anything to besmirch her name or anything along those lines. But when I checked out, they charged me $250 extra.
For what? No.
The ceiling fan. My dismount, look, I look like Nadia Comaneci, dude. I come off that thing, did a back somersault, and broke the ceiling fan. So, that's the type of stuff that you have to do when you're trying to win the love of a certain woman, especially on your marriage night.
She already said I do.
Well, I know, but I had to make sure she was 100% certain. So before we leave, though, I brought you and your bride. Speaking of bride.
Baked cookies?
I baked y'all some cookies.
Rocco Spunkwire?
Look, me and the Keebler Elves this morning baked these for you.
Inside
little
a tree.
And the family. And also,
yes.
You got to call out a brother of ours, Thomas Rock.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, no, this is important.
Yes, real quick. So he gave me some meat pies. He gave me some extra. And I told him when I was going to come on the show, he's one of our Axe brothers. He works for Energy, but he's from
Cane River.
Yes,
sir.
Right?
And he's not even listening because he's en route to...
That's right. But that's okay.
He's going to help out.
But of course, Cane River, a lot of Creole people over there. I told you already.
You did?
I told you, and Thomas Rock knows this, that I'm blacker than he is. Because the Moors, they conquered Italy in 16th century BC. Right? So they had a lot of, mixing it up. But you saw True Romance. Did you see the movie? Yes, I did. So you saw True Romance. Everything in it is correct.
Yeah.
So me and my man Thomas Rock went out one night. And, we went to a club. And we were dancing.
Rock and rock, huh?
Bro, dude's got no rhythm. Like none.
The man can't listen right now. He can't respond.
He's going to listen later. He's got hay bales. This Rock's got his hands and everything, which comes to this.
The meat pies. Give me some meat pies. Yes.
Mammy's meat pies.
Yeah.
This is his grandmother's recipe. So he is actively starting a company.
Mm-hmm.
And since we just got off, the Beef Industry Council week a couple weeks ago, I want to just point this out. 100% beef, 70 what?
Percent fat.
70%.
Oh, beef. I'm sorry.
Come on, get your numbers right, dude.
60% fat, 70%.
What's wrong with you? Yeah, man.
With me, you just
Look,
you were.
I'm just telling you, they good. That's for you and your bride. Which, by the way, tell her I love her. I tell her this every day. Tremendous job as the leader for the women's retreat.
Mm-hmm.
So many people I talk to have told me how impactful it was, and that's because of her leadership and the people that were directors with her. And not only that, a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes that you know exactly what went on. So, so shout out to her. That's for you. Now, look, you can't have these because you on some kind of crazy diet, right?
Yeah, it's not crazy, but
Rock
yeah.
brings me anything.
Something for you. I just brought you these cookies. Look, here you go. I baked them this morning.
Thank you so much, Rocco.
He just took the cookies away. My 6-year-old son, he just took those cookies away.
Look, Jimbo's he's gonna be happy to eat the meat pie and the leftover muffalata.
Yes.
Which, by the way, remind me to bring Mama Jag a piece because she corned me when I got in. She's like, "Where you going?"
No, we take care of her first.
I said, "I'm going upstairs to do Brian's show." She said, "What you cooking?" I said, "I'm doing a muffalata." She said, "Well, you know where I'm at. Make sure you bring me a piece before you leave." I'm scared. I'm very scared.
Wait. Did she tell you it's her birthday?
Is it her birthday?
No, but she tells everybody it's her birthday every day.
Today's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Is it your birthday too?
It is my birthday today.
Would you like me to sing you a song?
Do so, please.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Oh my God.
No, I ain't gonna do that. Alejandra. So as Haldane
We got 30 seconds
is
till
looking
break,
at
and then
his
we can tell a
phone,
donkey story.
just so you know,
Wait, I'm interacting with the YouTube audience here.
it's a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for the invitation. You know I love coming in here. I love you. I love Alejandro. Gordy, not so much. But the point is, I like coming back. Remember, in order to make a great New Orleans South Po' boy,
You got to be from New Orleans. We're going to break
our
on air.
address is
It's 33-something Drusilla.
3358 Drusilla.
There it is.
Phone number 248-1999. Catering, anything you need.
Here's
Give
your
us a
money now
call.
on Talk 107.3.
We are here to serve.
Okay.
So can I take this off now?
Your microphone. Do what? No, I was looking to see if anybody was left on YouTube after that awesomeness. No, that was good. It was awesome. It was really good.
So
Galen says we may be witnessing Radko's last appearance on 107.3 in the end of his political career. Oh, all right. Let's turn this over with microphone.
History with Thomas Rock, as you know, on a retreat.
Yeah.
Um,
He was on 6th with you. Yeah.
So you know this, he moved to Tila to be close to all that.
I had heard that. I didn't hear it from him. Somebody else said that. Yeah.
Wife,
Yeah.
so,
She's Mercy famous, by the way. Everybody loves her. Yeah.
She's that great lady. And, I see why T-Rock loves her so much. He's awesome, man. So was he. And so we get to talking one day, and my mailman, I think I told you this, the mailman for all of us in Tower, Albert, is going to be on the retreat with us, okay? And so he's my mailman, Trey Young's, Romero's, Thomas Rock, Casey
Kelly Walker.
Crochet, Kelly Walker,
Ben Coughlin. Yeah.
Coughlin. Who else lives over there? Ryan.
Michael Clay.
All of us.
Right.
Like, I talked to him yesterday.
Tim
when
Schroeder.
when he was dropping my mail off, man, he is like so pumped, man. And the thing about him, I love about him, he's from New Orleans. He's from the Lower Nine. Right?
Okay.
So me and him have this connection. And then, I introduced him. Rock knows who he is because of where Rock lives. And so, so we're going to have lunch with him Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever Thomas gets back in town. But I'm telling you, man, that is such the great thing about the entire ministry is the spectrum of people you meet.
Yeah.
Is huge. but you're going to bond with 6 to 10 guys on each retreat that you're going to be. You know, and Rock was one of those guys from my retreat.
Yeah.
You know, and I crack on him a lot, just like I do, you know, William Bradley Klein, or Kyle Ratty Jr. Klein, or Brian Haldane, you know. But it's out of love. And like I said before, you know, imitation is the greatest form of tomfoolery.
Flattery, but yes.
There you go. So you understand where I'm going with that.
Yes.
And so that is the connection that we have with certain individuals, and you and I in particular, just because of the longevity of our friendship and knowing each other for so long. It's like you get to a point to where you kind of almost know what the other person's thinking and getting ready to say.
Yes.
And for you, that's probably a bad thing.
Well,
because you see it coming half the time, and you're like, all right, here he comes.
Well, they
Alejandro.
say the person that does the best in the accident is the one who doesn't brace themselves. Unfortunately, I get to brace myself every time.
Well, you know, the other day when I hung up the phone with you, I pulled into the Walgreens because I was coming down Government. Right there. I'm walking in, I'm coming out, and this lady is backing up. And I'm like, surely this lady sees my truck.
Yeah.
And dude, she's speeding. She's back. Dude, she drove the front of my truck.
Yes.
So she jumps out. She was a little bit older, you know, and she was a little razzled.
Oh, they can't hear you.
Started crying and, you know, got a little upset on the whole deal. And I was like, that was horrible. I almost wanted to just leave and not even let the lady pay for whatever damage it was, because it's not. I mean, it's some, but it ain't much. And then a little, voice went off inside my head. You do enough anyway, so yeah, make her pay. So she's
okay.
paying.
I mean, well, there's being nice and there's being
you
just.
ready to make some muffaladas?
Yes, we are. As soon as we get back in, hey, real quick.
Let's go.
I posted the link on both the group meets for Axe.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Wolf was the one saying you were in and out. Brother War Showers in says Rocco could be the next Howard Stern. Also says Rocco flying high on the CBD this morning. And oh, by the way, Brad Klein said, who had Nadia Comaneci on the Rocco bingo card? By the way,
Nadia Comaneci, she was good.
Oh, man.
Oh, I can do this dude's voice perfect. I can imitate him to a T. This is Taylor Sharp reporting.
Not bad.
I got you.
You gotta, yeah.
Come on.
It's better than the British accent for sure.
Now look, that was a subpar British accent. I actually have a very good British accent.
Do you now?
Well, what would you like me to say? I mean, I speak several languages. I speak Spanish. I speak Italian. I speak a little bit of chip-botti English. Do you know what a chip-botti is by any chance? A chip-botti is a sandwich. It's like fish and chips, but it's on bread. And you take the bread and you put the fish and chips and you put mayonnaise, and it's called a chip-botti sandwich. Look, I'm about to go to that tennis tournament in a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be drinking at noon. So if you think I'm good now, just wait till I get a couple in me, which is all I can do, by the way. 2. Got to stop at 2. So you ready to muffalade it up?
Yeah, we're going to muffalade it up.
All right, my baby.
I'm just telling you.
Here we go.
When Christy and I are on our Friday nights where we drink tequila and watch Blue Bloods, if she so much as looks at the ceiling fan, I'm coming after you.
So wait a minute. So
3 minutes to make a sandwich.
Wait, hold on, man. So a banner night at the Haldanes on Fridays. You drink tequila and you watch Blue Bloods?
That's right.
Please tell me you're kidding.
No.
Take her to Taco Bell,
no,
dude.
And we
get her a gordito.
I'm gonna bring her home some muffalata tonight.
Oh, you will.
Let's start off with
you will.
When it comes to the muffalata, you got the bread, you got the olive salad.
Right. So of course,
the only room where there's ever variation is on which cold cuts to use, whether it be prosciutto.
There is no variation.
Oh?
There is a way to do it correctly, and there's a way to do it subparly, okay?
Wow.
So the first thing, obviously, is to have the correct bun, right? Seeded muffalata bun, Leidenheimer's Bakery in New Orleans. Gambino makes a pretty good one, too. Leidenheimer's tends to be, and this is what Central Grocery uses.
Yes.
Tends to be a little softer, okay, and it's not as hard. Some of the other companies, their muffalatas are very dense. They're very big. See how thin this one is?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you get some that are this big, and that creates way too much meat.
Yes.
I mean, way too much bread for the meat to handle. So, of course, you take the muffalata. First thing that goes on is Genoa salami, right?
Salami's a given, yes.
Second thing that's going to go on is mortadella. What is mortadella?
It's like a ham.
It is a Italian sausage, right? It's not a bologna.
Okay.
There's a difference. It's a sausage, right? And you've got little bits of fat marbling throughout the meat, right?
Right.
This is another thing that you find locally in Italy on every table for breakfast, right? So so then goes the mortadella. Next thing is going to be ham. We use Chisaisi ham, okay? Now, prosciutto was never made to be on, and the reason is, it is very. You've had prosciutto, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing about it that you can tell me when you eat it?
But I like prosciutto.
But it's very.
I love prosciutto.
It's very thin, and it's kind of a little bit sticky because of the way it's
that's
cured,
true.
right?
Yeah.
And that's going to create issues with the bread if you put it on, which is why that's not to be used. Now, also, we use the Chisaisi ham, and then on top of that, we put provolone and Swiss cheese.
Provolone and Swiss.
And that's the way it's intended to be made. And again, if you go to Central Grocery Store, they have provolone and Swiss cheeses. And of course, you finish it with the olive mix.
To continue this on YouTube after we're off air on air, which is coming up in 30 seconds from right now. So 3358 Drusilla Lane is where you will find Rocco's New Orleans style po' boys.
248-1999. And remember,
in order to make a great New Orleans style po' boy,
you got to be from New Orleans. And if you put one
on the top of your head, you will beat your brains out with your tongue trying to get to it.
Very good. Here's an amazing.
They call me First Take Haldane right there.
Nadia Comaneci's coming in to eat this muffalata.
Fox News Rundown's next.
Does anybody even know who she is?
Nadia Comaneci, I have no idea.
You don't know who she is?
So no, wait. Let's walk through this a little bit because
So-
we have room to run now.
Mortadella, salami, Chisaisi ham.
Yes.
After that, provolone cheese.
Okay, can we show wait, before you do the provolone, can we show the YouTube audience where it's at right now? Because that's gorgeous.
Please. By all means, pick it up, my friend.
You don't care about
No, I'm not eating it.
I'm gonna go on the
I mean, I just
laundry.
took a whiz before I came in here, and there was no soap in the soap dispenser. I'm just saying. I'm just telling you what happened. So I wiped my hands on the wall. I mean, there was no paper towels. There's been cutbacks over here, man. Look how beautiful that looks. Yes, and you get almost a pound of meat on a muffalata at Rocco's. Almost an entire pound. That's not counting when you put the cheese on it, right?
No, so with the ham, that is thick cut ham, and that's important, which is something that a lot of people lose out on when they go with the thin ass cold cut.
So I'm glad you pointed that out because but we have when we make our muffalatas, and if we make a ham po' boy or the Crescent City, which is your favorite.
Yep.
The ham we cut for those, this thing keeps going up. The ham we cut for those, we slice very thin.
Yeah.
So we have two different. So in other words, for muffalatas, we cut the ham thicker.
Right.
For po' boys, any type, ham and cheese, whatever, we cut it very, very thin.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's.
Well, it presents
kind of
itself
like
differently.
prosciutto. It's so thin.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it really is. But we cut it thicker because of the size of the bun, and then also the thickness of the sandwich. You want a muffalata to be thick,
Yes,
right?
you do.
So then we're going to go with, of course, our provolone cheese.
Yep.
Then Swiss. And the Swiss, the thing about Swiss cheese, provolone does not have a very sharp taste to it.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
But when that's one thing when you do heat it up, provolone kind of.
That's right.
That is a benefit to heating it up.
I'm not going to say that
no,
it
no,
isn't, because
right.
any cheese that you heat
Right.
tastes better
Yeah.
when you heat it.
Yeah.
Period. Because it releases all the oils and everything in the cheese.
Right. But for the purposes of this sandwich, when you got the salt and the provolone mixed with the salt that's in the meat, you're overdoing it by heating it up.
Now, what happens with the Swiss and the provolone, though, when you don't heat it up, is the sharpness of the Swiss balances it off and gives it some extra flavor. So then we're going to go with our Italian olive salad mix.
Alondra, come get the picture before he closes it down, before he puts the lid on it. Let's get the picture for the on demand here.
Go ahead, please. Because, as I cut it, I'm going to have to do my walk away.
You're off camera, by the way.
It doesn't matter because I walked away.
But no,
I don't have to be on camera.
I'm thinking like an idiot and somebody who can't even see. Nobody can see what you're doing.
It doesn't even matter. At this point, the rails have already come off. It doesn't matter. So now we close it up. And you want me to eighth this or quarter it? I mean, I've got enough. I'm going to make another one too.
Let's eighth the other one and quarter.
Okay, let's quarter this one.
Just to make sure we got enough for everybody to enjoy.
Now, I don't have our plate, which we normally have, but you can use this if you want to pick it up. What I recommend you do, if you want to show it, is pull it apart and then just.
We already took the picture for the on demand with the open faced, which is gorgeous.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, let's go show that to the
here. Yeah, go show it. Oh my God, Alejandra, I'm walking off officially. This is the Ric Flair walk off. Before I go, you're talking to the Rolex wearing.
Slide through one more time. I brought the big table back for you.
High flying.
But now our booties are rubbing together.
Ram truck driving. Limousine riding, son of a gun, and having a hard time keeping these sketches on this flow as I walk away.
Those are Skechers?
Yeah, man.
That's good looking. All right. Are we calling it for the day? Can we let everybody get back to that? Should we check in on comments one more time?
So people out there who have been nice enough to listen, we have a very busy weekend. We got a lot going on. And so, unfortunately, my time here is limited today.
You get an LSU Auburn prediction?
The Tigers are going to win. They're going to win big.
Is that one of those they're both named Tigers predictions?
No, I'm talking about the LSU Tigers.
And they're going to win
I
big.
think they're going to kick their butt. They don't have a defense, and they're struggling at the quarterback position because people are hurt and people are transferred. I don't see them. Now, what's his name? 22, what's his last name? Williamson, the running back for LSU with the dreads, the long dreads, number 22.
Armani Goodwin.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's out this weekend. So that's going to hurt them a little bit, but I think with the other backs that they have, I think they'll be fine.
Between Emory,
I mean, look, I'm going to tell you,
and
and look, before we go, I'm going to make this point. I've got nothing against Danielson being the quarterback or Daniels or whatever his name is, but I've been at the last two games, man, and the kid being a fourth-year starter, because he started 3 years at Arizona State, he just doesn't see the field well, man. I mean,
well,
look, man,
how much of that's a
missing-
bad offensive line, though? Like
they changed the offensive line 3 weeks in a row. He had ample protection last week to throw the ball, and the week before that, and he's just missing open guys. I mean, that's just all there is to it. Now, maybe the offensive scheme is a hell of a lot different than where he was at before.
Oh, I assure you it is.
I've got no issue with Brian Kelly or the direction the team is going in. It's going to take some time. People want things to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
But the one thing I will tell you, the last 3 games at halftime, the coaching staff made adjustments.
Oh, yeah.
And came out in the second half, and you actually saw them. When's the last time you've seen that in LSU football?
04.
There you go. Okay, so that tells me everything I need to know about Brian Kelly as a coach.
No, totally.
So he's going to get us there, man. And, I used to be one of the guys when I was much younger, because I'm 50 years old. Anyway, the point is that as you get older, you start to realize certain things. And, I used to be one of the pundits that would chime in on Facebook all the time. Man, the heck with that, man. I'm so over it. I want them to play well and do well. And the only way they're going to do that is by good coaching. And we have good coaching. And
we do have good coaching.
And they're going to be where they need to be in a couple of years. I mean, the guy been to 2 freaking national championship games. It's Notre Dame.
Right.
So just be patient, people. That's all. Take a little patience. Breathe a little bit. And don't sweat the small stuff, brother. Don't sweat the small stuff.
I like it.
It's always a pleasure. Alejandra, on a scale of 1 to 10, what am I looking at? About an 8? 8.5?
For what?
Just in general.
You're 10.
Isn't she the best?
Alondra, you're the best.
Thanks.
Notice
All
I
right.
called you by your real name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mi amor, te quiero, te llamo, te adoro, mi amor. Me encanta tu mucho.
Igualmente, Rocco.
Mucho gusto, señorita.
And that's how we conclude Spanish American Heritage
Que
Month.
bueno el fin de semana, chicos and chicas.
Thank y'all for coming along for the ride. Thank y'all for playing along. We will see you next week.
Thank you for inviting me, brother.
Always, brother.
Love you.